Y'all,
Exactly.
y'all are using retinol, SPF, all that stuff to try to combat aging. But the real aging
Not
happens in
me.
here.
hmm hmm
And that's why you
I'm
must
using that
stay on,
Bluebird app.
but that's why you must stay on that Bluebird app because that's where all of it starts.
Yeah. Stay intellectually sharp, guys. All the tweets I like are like pee pee poo poo.
Manic
Pixie
Jump Scare. Hosted by Quinn Murphy.
and Becca Hobart.
Hi,
Hi, we're
we're
Queen
Quinn and
and we're
we're
Becca.
Becca. And welcome to Manic Pixie Jump Scare, a podcast where we talk openly about our shared delusions
Passions
and
and
love
love
for
for
each
each
other.
other.
I have to say, I feel like we usually syncopate and synergize a little bit more in the
In the
welcome,
intro.
but we
Yeah,
we
this
both
one's
had we
very,
had different character studies a little bit during this one.
yeah, yeah, foils to each other, you could say.
Yes, a little
Yeah.
bit. And that's one of the more interesting things to watch on stage, like when two characters are engaged in a
Duality.
conflict and they both want different things.
Exactly.
That's what my
It
playwriting
was
professor always
crazy.
taught me. So,
Kathy George.
yep.
I'll say her name.
and
No
and may she
qualms.
slay. Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
Oh my goodness,
Um,
Becca.
it has been a minute, hasn't it?
I know. Not to our audience
Not to,
because
of course, because we
you know
have
and I
crafted so well the pod of continuous streaming.
no, literally, and I do need to recognize us for that because the fact that we have
Mhm.
literally kept this little show going each week. Like whenever I tell people at the podcast and they're like, "Oh, so what's happening now that you're like traveling?" I'm like, "Oh, babe, nothing's changed basically.
Literally,
If anything, traveling has allowed us
because
to expand because now we have this whole new level of the universe with the deep dives.
it's
Um,
so true.
and so yeah.
It's been lovely, basically.
Mhm.
But it does mean that we talk less
Yes.
live,
No, and
and
honestly, guys, no, when I sign on to this and like I see
it's
Becca,
hard.
I'm like a dog, like at the door. Like when a dog sees somebody it really likes, but like doesn't live with it, it's like I'm like clamoring to talk to Becca every time
Yeah,
I get on this little Zoom call.
I'm freaking out. Yeah,
And I'm always
because
still
I
testing
need
my
to know
mic, so we
everything.
can't speak right away.
Literally, he's like, hold on, hold on.
I said, now wait a
Um,
minute.
5 fingers to the face.
Five
Anyway.
fingers to the face.
um, but so Quinn, this leads me into the classic catch up. And
Uh-huh.
again, you have been to so many places that I just can't even keep track. So I just have to know, where have you been? What was it
Hmm.
like? What did you do? What did you see?
Okay. Who, what, when, where, why? Very much
Yeah,
given.
yeah, yeah. Take me
Um,
through that.
oh, this is the wrong one. I have notes because I'm trying to keep things a little organized. But anyway,
Okay.
so when last we spoke, I was actually in Berlin, famously in Germany.
hmm
And right
Yes.
now I'm in Spain.
A
But
place I have been as well.
yeah, exactly.
Cheers.
Twixt those two places, I was actually in Amsterdam.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and so
Yeah.
literally the morning Becca and I last recorded, I journeyed to Amsterdam. And I had to take a train and then a bus. And then something really funny but also scary. It was gonna be my jump scare if we had shot a new episode last week, but I'll just share it now
Mm-hmm.
for all posterity. So I'm waiting for a bus, and if you have never been to Europe, listener,
Mm-hmm.
something about Europe is that it's all military time. There's no such thing as 1 o'clock in the afternoon here. Baby,
It's true.
that's 1300. I don't know if people actually say that, but like on all the clocks and everything, it says like 1300. And when you book travel, it also says the military time. And so when I was going
Mm-hmm.
to Amsterdam, I was like, oh, let me, I booked my ticket, and
Mhm.
something about me is famously, I do get numbers confused. Like numbers, sometimes I get like numbers confused in my head. Um, and so I booked a
What,
ticket,
like specific numbers or just like
just
all
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 numbers.
numbers?
Like
Wow.
I'll just
That's
do
like
like
a
the wrong thing.
liability.
Yeah. No, this kind of confirms my, and I'm against self-diagnosing except for when I do it.
Uh-huh.
But this kind of confirms my suspicion that I might have like a mild form of dyslexia. Um,
Interesting.
yeah, but like with numbers, because I also really struggle with my lefts and rights, which people also say is like a sign of dyslexia.
I
Um,
struggle with that as well.
yeah. And so therefore it's conceivable to me that I could have, left and right dyslexia. But also this numbers thing is now complicating things. So anyway, I
Okay.
booked a ticket. So I had to ride a train and then a bus. So I take my train, goes off without a hitch, really. And then so I ride from Berlin to, I don't even know how to pronounce it really. I think it's Duisburg or like Duisburg, but it's another place in Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And so I ride in the train there and I'm like, cool. So then I'm taking a bus. And so the bus picks up in a different place than the train. And so I don't know about you, but when I'm traveling, something like my first priority is to find where I need to go before I do anything else. So like
Yes.
when I'm in an airport, I'm going to the gate. Like I'm going
Mm-hmm.
like if I'm getting like a meal or something, I'm going to the gate and making sure like, okay, this is where it is before I go
Mm-hmm.
and like, get a little snack or something. Um,
Absolutely.
and so I was
That's what I
like,
do.
okay, let me go find where this bus picks up. And so the bus picked up like a 5-minute walk away from the train station. And then
Mm-hmm.
I get there and the bus isn't leaving for like another hour. And so I'm like, and I'm hungry. And so I'm like, okay, or no, another like couple hours at that point. And so I'm hungry. And so I'm like, okay, let me walk back to the bus station
Mm-hmm.
or no, the train station from the bus station. And I get a little lunch. And what was I doing but editing this little show, the Quinn and Berlin episode,
Mm,
#1 in 30
of
countries, I heard.
course.
Um,
Uh-huh.
and I'm just like, working on this show I put so much effort into. And my ticket I had in my head was sometime in the 3 o'clock hour. And I just kept saying, oh, well, my ticket's like at 3 o'clock. And then, so it's 1 o'clock by this point. And if you don't know, it's actually about 1:45 at this point when I'm like editing. And if you don't
Mm-hmm.
know, one in military time or like European time is 13. So it's like 13:45 by this point. And I'm like, I'm thinking about my ticket and I'm like, did my ticket say 3 or did it say 13?
Oh no.
And so then I check my bus ticket again. It's 13:45 at this point. When did my bus depart? But 13:40.
No.
And so I have missed the
No.
damn bus because I was working to get y'all an episode of this little show. And
And
then
we
what
thank you.
what did I do but panicked and bought another ticket in the
Mm-hmm.
train station that was all in train. And then the ticket, when I printed out, it was in German. It didn't tell me where to get
Okay.
any of the trains or nothing like that. And so I was like, oh. And so then I went back on the bus website and found another bus to Amsterdam and then spent another amount of money. And so it was actually a little bit of a costly error. But
So you paid for 3 tickets to get to one place?
yes.
Okay. Okay.
It's true,
Yeah.
actually. Um, and
Dang.
so guys, I didn't follow my life caught me slipping because I am not usually a panicked person. But I think it was
Mm-hmm.
because this was like the first thing. Well, not the first thing. This was it was the first time something went wrong that was like directly in my control.
I see. Yes.
Like it was the
Yeah,
first time
yeah.
in my travels that something really went wrong where like I fucked up.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
that was why I was
You
like
did.
like
Mm-hmm.
and so yeah. So guys,
You goofed it. It's
if you can
okay.
learn one thing from me, when things go wrong, just take a little bit of a deep breath. And you'll get
Mm-hmm.
through it, baby.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Just like I did. But I had to suffer a loss in order to learn that. And so,
Mm-hmm.
but that would have been my jump scare last week. So starting there, so we can only go up. But then I get
Yeah.
to Amsterdam.
Okay.
And Amsterdam is beautiful. Let me say, it really got me in the fall vibe.
Love that.
Because there were a couple nice days, and so the sun was shining, the leaves were changing, the canals were canaling, and yeah. So I stayed in the red light district, which I would literally recommend everybody don't do that.
Oh.
No,
No.
do not
So,
have your
so for why?
do not have your accommodations in the red light district because first of all,
Okay.
no Dutch people actually go there. So like it's completely
Mm,
tourists. Second of all,
gotcha.
Becca and I are alternative girlies. We like,
Mhm.
to see like kind of the underbelly of things, I would like to say.
Yeah.
And I feel like the red light district has that reputation where it's like, oh, it's cool. It's like underground. And I feel like that may have been true at one point. I feel that it is no longer true at this point. And it just
Oh.
very much feels like it's just there for like people to come and be like, oh my God, sex. Like, oh my God,
Mm,
sex workers in windows. Like you do see the sex workers in the windows and it's interesting, which like, I don't even want to say that
mhm.
as like, gawking at them or something, but you just pass by and like, you see it. And so, but it's also like there are a bunch of
Yeah.
like sex toy shops and like peep shows and, uh, I guess like porno, maybe like porno theaters. Like, I don't know. I didn't really engage with
Mhm.
it because like also it's always packed to the brim with people.
Fascinating.
Especially like at night, it's crazy. Like walking around at night, there are so many people in the red
Interesting.
light district specifically. And
Yeah.
yeah, it wasn't sexy in that like, oh, sex is actually like a part of the culture, which it is um in Amsterdam, but like it was more sexy and like a ooh, look, ooh, spend your
Okay.
money, ooh, like that
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Okay.
And
Like gimmicky
so
kind of.
yes, it was very gimmicky.
Mm,
And so
okay.
I don't know, but I've also I talked to two friends of Becca and I's who went to Amsterdam over the summer, and they stayed in the red light district, and they really liked it. And so
Hmm. Okay.
different strokes for different blokes. I would personally not do it again. Also, if you do go, like another thing that really turned me off is like um it was the first time I was like walking in Europe and I was like, oh, this is like dirty. Like, because I woke up early, like on like a Monday or
Mm,
something. So after everybody had been out on like Sunday night, and like there's just
mm.
litter everywhere and like gross stuff. And again, it's a tourist area,
Aw.
so it's like tourists doing that, which also makes it like
Yeah.
another like level of gross.
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'd
Very
recommend
true.
do not stay in the red light district. Stay in Jordan. It's very close. It's a nice little neighborhood. You can still do all the
Okay.
stuff, but yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed Amsterdam, but I have a couple gripes with it. Well, the red light district, and
Okay.
this is more of a gripe with Amsterdam. Amsterdam is not a walkable city.
Really? I totally thought it would be because every time I see photos, there's like little bridges everywhere, all the cobblestone streets. It
So
seems so
you
small.
you can walk around. However,
Okay. Okay. Okay.
the bikers,
Oh no. Dangerous?
oh my God. I had a tour guide and he was like, guys, we do have killer bees here. And by that I mean killer bikes.
Oh my
So he
God.
made a little joke, but it was not a joke at
Yeah.
all, actually.
Okay.
Because oh
Full
my God,
serious.
yeah, it was something about comedy, and this is something I'm coming up with right now. Is that all comedy has a little
Okay.
bit of truth in it, and that's what makes it funny.
Uh-huh.
And no one's ever said that before. And so,
No, that was groundbreaking.
yeah, it's my
Thank you.
intellectual property actually. And so, no, but the bikes are so like, and it's nice because it's like, oh, like people aren't as reliant on gas and stuff, and like, but also,
Yeah.
girl, you can't like because it is a little further apart than some other places I've been to, and the public transportation like is not as good, and like even locals will say it's expensive, and so a bunch of people ride bikes, but the bikes are
Hmm.
just like there are seemingly no rules for the bikes, and apparently there are, but like I don't think the bikers actually follow the rules. So like they're just whizzing everywhere, going everywhere, almost
Oh
hitting people,
boy.
almost like, and they just like rule the roost. And then, oh my God, there's this one day I was down by their like museum area, and
Mm-hmm.
the intersections like take so long for like pedestrians and stuff, but bikes are just like going through. Car like it would honestly be better to have a car in Amsterdam, or it would honestly be better to have a bike and then a car in Amsterdam, because cars also like play second fiddle to bikes. Like the bike's truly like the best way to get around.
It's so crazy. Do they have like easy access, like rentable bikes, or is it like
I think so. I didn't look into that
private
because
bikes?
honestly, somebody recommended, like my person who checked me into the hotel was trying to recommend that I like rent a bike, and I was like, ma'am, I'm gonna
Can
be
you ride a
honest. I
bike?
truly, I truly do not remember last time I was on a bike. So Amsterdam was very fun. Um, and yeah, it was kind of chill because like I was a little, tired, and I knew because I was going to Spain and I was going to be on another group tour. I was taking it a little
Mm-hmm.
bit easy. And so then
Gotcha.
I get to Spain, and I had gotten into the fall vibe in Spain just to I got into the fall vibe in Amsterdam just to immediately go to
Yeah.
Spain, where it has been 80 degrees or over the entire time I've been here.
It's the hottest place I've ever been in my life.
And I don't understand why it is so hot here, because if you look at a map of the world,
Mm-hmm.
Spain is on like the same longitude as literally where I live. Like I think if you jumped into the ocean in Delaware
Yes. And
and
swam.
if you somehow had the stamina to swim across the
Yeah.
damn Atlantic, you'd end up in Spain, or Portugal and then Spain. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and so why then is it so like it's definitely not this hot in Hockessin?
Not nearly.
There's something
And
geographically going on that makes it hot, because it is so hot here actually.
I don't know if it's also like how they engineered the entire country, but like all of the buildings are so close together.
Uh-huh.
They do not have AC.
Mm-hmm.
There's no break. It's crazy. It's so
Yeah.
hot. I
Yeah,
can't
it
believe
is.
it's still so hot.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's fully hot here, and it's the middle of October.
Yeah, it makes me
Why is it
sick.
so hot in Spain in late October, as Muna once said? Um,
They've never been wrong.
they've never actually been wrong. And so
Yeah, so
I do
that's
need to tell
crazy.
you. I do need to tell you. So I flew
Yeah, say it.
here from Amsterdam. Oh my God.
Hmm.
Getting here was actually kind of a crazy thing, because I get to Amsterdam airport, and this is the first time this has happened in my travels. I get to Amsterdam airport. Oh my God. Okay. Also, they had self check-in for the baggage. Like you walked up to
Yes,
a
I
little,
love that feature.
you walked up to a
And you
little
put the
machine. Yeah.
mhm, and you put the thing on,
And
and
it took your
then you
bag
just
for
like
you.
send it on the thing.
I was like,
Yeah,
baby,
it's
this is the
beautiful.
future.
Literally. Why do I ever have to talk to anyone
Literally.
about my bag if I could do this? I'm so capable of it.
Although this
Yeah.
trip has made me truly never want to check a bag ever again. Um,
Well, yeah.
and I will, and you guys might think you know why already, based off
Oh,
listening to
I
this
thought I did.
podcast. Oh, I'm sure you did. I'm sure you actually did.
Okay.
But what I'm about to say. Anyway,
Hmm.
so I get to the Amsterdam airport, and I see this line of people, and I'm like, I mean, that must be. And so I start walking to the end of the line. Um, and I'm walking for a good 5 to 10 minutes before I reach the end of the line. And it is the line to go into security.
Hmm.
And I'm waiting in the line for a good 20, 25 minutes before I get to a sign that says, wait from this point 90 plus minutes.
Ooh.
So the security line was over, or I don't think it was over. It was just about 2 hours for me to get through security.
Oh my God.
And luckily
That's
I got to
so.
the airport like 3 hours early.
Did they have one person doing security?
I do not know what the holdup was, honestly. Like, I don't know I do not know what the holdup was, but there were truly. It was also a Saturday. Um,
Okay.
but like truly so many people.
Damn.
Yeah.
I
And
hate
so,
waiting.
oh yeah. And so, and with my like heavy backpack, I was like, this is not good. But I got through it. And so then I flew from Amsterdam. I couldn't get a direct flight, I don't think, because I was flying into Barcelona. So I flew from Amsterdam to Frankfurt in Germany. And then I
Okay,
flew
I
from
see.
Frankfurt to Barcelona. And so
Barcelona.
I
Isn't
had
that Barcelona airport so cute?
Barcelona. I'm trying to remember.
Barcelona.
So you're gonna understand why, but in a couple, I didn't really take in that much of the airport.
Okay. Okay. I'll trust you.
Sorry. So first of all, we I get on the flight, like we get boarded and stuff, and then the pilot comes on, says a whole thing in German first, and then goes, "Hey guys, so we're actually going to be delayed a little bit at the gate, because Frankfurt Airport actually has their radio system down, so they can only fly in so many flights at a time. So we have to wait for like them to give us our like thing." And so like, of course, and that's an issue because so he said it would be delayed like 30 minutes basically. And
Mhm.
that's an issue because my layover in Frankfurt was only an hour and a half. And so I'm like bricking it a little bit already.
Mhm.
And so, but then I'm just like, okay, let me find my zen a little bit. And so we take off, we land, and then I go into the Frankfurt airport. And something we need to talk about with European terminals also, so long.
Very long.
Did you like something about the terminals? Like Europe's really said, okay, what if we made a terminal, but it was like literally 5 miles long? Like they could run marathons in these terminals that they have here in
You're
Europe.
so right.
Like I've
You're
never
so
walked
right.
through a US terminal like this long. Um,
Mhm.
and so I was like, oh, because I was checking and my flight from Barcelona flew out of the same terminal as my flight landed in Frankfurt. And so I was like, thank God for that. But it was like
Mhm.
30 gates away. So it was fully a 10-minute walk.
I know. I love that in the maps on your phone it will show you and it's like, "Oh yeah, so you're a mile away from your gate still." Like
No, it's like,
crazy.
yeah. And so I landed there. And so luckily I had enough time. Like I literally got to the gate like as I was boarding. I got to a gate like
Oh,
I
nice.
got to my gate as they started boarding. And I had a little maladaptive thought in my head. And I was like, actually, no, I'm gonna push that away. And so I just got on the plane. I flew out to Barcelona
Uh-huh.
and I landed in Barcelona. I had like a really good flight. I read a book. I wrote a little something. I'm feeling good.
Nice. Yeah.
I land in Barcelona.
Mhm.
My
Yeah.
phone connects to a cell tower. No, well,
Yeah.
text on my phone. I look at my face unlocks my phone. Crazy thing about the phones now. I look,
Well,
and what does it say? It's from Lufthansa, who I'm flying, who I'll name,
mhm.
and it says, your baggage has been rebooked. And I
Not
said, so that's weird because
again.
I'm pretty sure my bag isn't an imminent object. And so not
Why
to
is
take
she
her
taking her own flights?
not to take her agency away or nothing like that, but why is she making those decisions for herself? I didn't know she could.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, like, honestly, that makes me mad now thinking about it. Like the semantics of your baggage has been rebooked. Like, what do you mean by that?
Yeah. Because she never had a ticket in the first place.
No.
Because she
Uh-huh.
is a child.
No, I am the girl. She is a 22-year-old teenage girl, just like myself.
She is a little baby 37-year-old.
Literally,
What can we do?
she is.
She can not make her own decisions.
She is a 46-year-old toddler. That girl.
That baby girl.
That baby girl.
Uh.
And so, anyway, so again, my bag has not made it with me.
It makes me think you'll never receive justice.
Oh yeah, no. Oh yeah, no. I
Never.
will say this experience was very different because Lufthansa did literally tell me, they were like, okay, your bag is literally on this flight. Like it was just in the next flight
Okay.
out to like coming from Frankfurt to Barcelona, which was literally like 3 hours after. But I got in at like 8 o'clock, 8 p.m.
Oh,
2000. I don't know how they say it here.
yeah.
And so to wait 3 hours, like it wasn't even gonna get in until after like almost
In the
midnight.
night. Yeah.
And so I had like a hotel room booked. I had to be like my tour was starting the next day. And so I was like,
Mhm.
what the fuck? And so what do? Call my mom.
Mhm.
And she affirmed my decision. So I left the damn airport. I said, you know what? Let go, let God. And I did fill out
Mhm.
a little like report and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway. And so
Did you take those blue buses from the airport?
yes,
That one.
yeah.
That's what I took. And that,
Yeah.
the thing where you buy the ticket, that's where my card got stuck
Oh, really?
in the little booth.
I love those little buses. I rode them back and forth twice.
They're
No, and
so
then I
good.
made a mistake.
Aerobus.
Yeah, Aerobus, shout out. I made a little
Mhm.
mistake
Okay.
because the one I rode to my hotel was the T1. And so when I
Right.
put Barcelona in the air, like in Google Maps the next day to get back to the airport, it told me to take
Mhm.
the T2. And I was like, oh, so T1 must be coming from the airport and T2 must be going back to the airport. Guys, no.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm. It's the
T1 stands for
terminals.
Terminal 1, which is what I flew into.
Yeah.
And so T1
Yeah.
brought me. And then I went to T2 back to the airport, but my bag was in T1. And so what did I have to do? But wait for another shuttle and pay another little bit of money to take a shuttle from Terminal 1 to Terminal 2 to Terminal 1 because they're literally a mile apart in Barcelona.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my first
I
moments
wish
in
I could have been
Spain,
there to help you.
my first moments in Spain, clusterfuck. Let me just say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I did self-soothe though that night I got in by solo running a bottle of wine.
Perfect.
And that was healing for me. And so yeah. And so then I went on my tour. It was so fun. We started in Barcelona and then we went to Granada and then
Perfect.
Sevilla. And then we went
Nice.
to Cadiz for a beach day. And then we went to Madrid. And now I am in Alicante, which is like a little seaside town on the east coast of
Mhm.
Spain. And I'm in an undisclosed location.
Yes.
Becca and I will be talking about where I am someday.
Oh, lovely. Okay.
But today,
No, no,
not that
no.
day, girls. Not that day. No, Becca, when we talk about this on the pod,
It's gonna be crazy.
no, it's gonna be crazy. Like part of it is like, I don't know if like it's like the right time to talk about it. And also I knew this was gonna be a long episode. So to truly get into like what's been going on.
Yeah. There's a lot of parties affected by it, so
Oh yeah. And there's a lot going on. Like just takes time to
a lot to
tell.
consider.
I'm like,
Yeah.
And so anyway.
Sure.
But and so yeah, Spain is literally beautiful.
Mhm.
And yeah, I love it here. So where'd you go when you were in Spain, Becca?
Well, I was in Barcelona the whole time. I was gonna
Mhm.
ask you, where did you stay? Like, what were you near, kind of? Or do you know?
We were only there for like one day.
Okay.
I don't think there are any like landmarks near us. We stayed, I got off. Oh, like did you oh,
I was
because
gonna say, which
your friend probably studies at the university, right? Like of Barcelona?
she
Or no, she's not a student?
No, when she studied, she was at the University of Granada, actually, but then she, for
Oh,
the summer working, was in Barcelona, so she wasn't in school at the time. But yeah, which stop did you get off at on the Aerobus?
like the university one, I'm pretty sure. So it was like
Okay,
the third one.
gotcha. Okay, I think I was a little further down from you.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a beautiful place.
Yeah. I was really obsessed. Did you like all the Gaudi like architecture?
Yes,
Like the
all the buildings are so pretty.
yeah.
Yeah, and there's like the Museum of Sex had really cool architecture. I wish
Oh
you
my
could have seen it.
gosh. Yeah, I definitely need to
Middle of
come back.
that.
I definitely need to. I will be back to Spain. Like, it's definitely a cool
Mhm.
vibe here. I also, Becca, this is gonna be crazy. I really want to learn Spanish.
Wouldn't it be cool?
Yeah, I need to.
I tried when I was there.
I'm like, I know like a little bit, but like I want to learn Spanish, and I have been wanting to learn another language because I am famously bilingual. Becca and I both are kind
Famously.
of.
Yeah.
Yeah, Becca and I are both
I,
bilingual.
unfortunately, my second language does not help really any other languages.
Yeah,
Yeah.
outside the
Yeah.
context
Yeah.
of the US. Um,
Yeah.
and so yeah, I really want to learn Spanish and German. Like, what if I was like that bitch that was like, oh, I speak 4 languages.
That'd be so cool. I know. And
Hello.
once you learn one, it's easier to learn another. So
Oh
that's
yeah,
what they say.
and I like know all the mechanics of language and stuff because that was like part of college. Because I had to take
Right.
like a bunch of
Right.
linguistic stuff, and so I don't know, guys. I might be able to hack into the mainframe, but
Hoping.
anyway. So yeah, that's my little adventure. Those are my little adventures through Spain. I'll talk about them a little bit more, but
Hmm.
we of
Okay.
course need to hear about what's been going on in Zan Miss Becca's life. And if our outline is any indication, there's going to be some interesting things going on. And so, Becca,
Yeah.
what the hell has been going on with you?
What even the hell? Yeah, so again, nothing nearly as exciting as your life at the moment, but that's
Oh my
okay
gosh.
because I'm in my home era. I'm not
Hmm.
meant to be traveling right now. It's just what's going on.
It's giving
But
homebody, yeah.
well, I say that. I actually and I did not tell you before, but I was just in Paris just for a short amount of time. Um because I got a car and her name is Paris. Ah,
That's better than being in actual Paris. Oh my God.
Literally, she's a Subaru Legacy. She used to
Yes.
be my uncle's, and then I just bought her from him.
Yes.
Um, the way to do it. So now I literally have autonomy, and I can just like go anywhere again because something that was really lame about me for a while and like this whole time I've been home is I had no car.
Oh my God.
I barely had a job at the first part of it. So, now I have a job and I have a car. What more could you want from me as a
Yeah,
woman?
exactly. Not having a car in suburban America, there's no fate worse, actually.
Evil. Because you know it's not walkable?
The suburbs.
Literally. At all.
And there's no public transportation in any functional
Nope,
way.
none. Exactly. There's like a fake bus stop outside the old people's home so they don't run away. But
No, literally where I live, like if I even wanted to take like public transportation, I would have to literally walk on like a non-pedestrianized like area for
uh,
at
yeah.
least 20 minutes.
Yeah. I have to walk across the highway, which is
Oh,
bad. You're
oh,
not supposed to
fully.
do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
that's one of the things about like Europe that's just been crazy how you can just like public transit is so accessible. I will never forget how in
Yep.
Berlin I literally was clubbing until 5 a.m. and then took a train home, like took a subway home.
Like how convenient, how beautiful.
Literally.
It's so good. It's so good. Yeah.
Hmm.
So, I'm really glad though to have a car. Um,
Uh-huh.
she's kind of old. She's like 2006 or something, but yeah. Her name is Paris. She's been doing what she needs to do, honestly. So, good for her. Um,
I never said Paris was a cunt.
another Paris is my friend. I would never say that.
Paris is my friend. I would never
I
say
would
that.
never say that. Yeah, but so loving that. And then also part of my I guess my grind era as well.
Hmm.
Everyone knows I've been a girl boss lately. Something that I don't think I've talked to you about yet is that I'm literally going to be a substitute teacher.
Now this is crazy. Now this is crazy
Okay.
to me. No, this I read this and I was like, this is crazy, actually.
No, literally, I told Lauren, she goes, "Why do you just do things? Like you just do things. It's crazy." But okay, so basically in Pennsylvania right now, because schools need substitute teachers so bad.
Mhm.
You don't need to have a teaching certificate to be a substitute anymore. You just need any bachelor's degree. And then through the IU in your district, you get like this certificate to like be able to substitute then. Because basically, what do substitutes do? They literally sit at a desk and tell the kids to do the worksheet or whatever. If the
Literally.
teacher left.
Mhm.
Like that's it. And me, I will do that for $150 a day.
That is
Easily.
good. That is good.
Exactly. Like my days off from Ulta, like what do? I sit around pretty much. Or I like sleep in so late. So let's
Mhm.
get up. Let's go sit somewhere else and make money. And
Let's
fall asleep
rise
somewhere
and literally
else.
grow.
Yeah, literally. So yeah, and I got interviewed last week and found out literally today that I'm fully going to be a substitute teacher.
That's wild.
And I'm really hoping mwah, mwah, mwah. I would love to meet my like the love of my life this way. Not a student. Let me clarify that. Not a student.
Not a student. Oh my God,
But-
Ezra. You're Ezra?
No.
Didn't he
I'm
start
so
as a
Ezra
substitute? No,
Cohen.
he was a new teacher.
He was just a new teacher. But speaking of teachers. Okay. I wasn't okay. So the other day at work at Ulta,
Mhm.
literally I was going through the book of names for pickup orders, and there's hundreds of names in the book. Hundreds. I literally see one. I'm like, that's my old tech ed teacher.
Yeah.
I walk away from the book for 5 seconds. He's calling the phone at Ulta. I was like, oh my God, I summoned him. So then I answered, and then I sounded so dumb in front of him because I forgot the hours we were open. So I was like, 8. And he was like, are you checking or are you telling me? And I was like, both. I sounded so dumb. I had to hang up. Anyway,
You were so
And
excited, like you
then-
were so caught off guard. I've been there.
yeah, I was like, I guess flustered. And then
Mhm.
this other lady was the mom of that I checked out was the mom of my old gym teacher from elementary school.
Okay, work.
Crazy. So, and then, yeah, I was like, just teachers are so prevalent in my life right now. And here I am becoming one right in front of my eyes.
Literally.
So, yeah,
You've taught me a lot of things. I consider you a teacher in my life.
thank you so much.
Oh my God. I
Um,
cannot imagine pulling up to high school and Miss Hobart is in the building.
Literally, the way that I look, like most people at work thought I was 18.
Oh yeah.
So this is gonna be
Oh, you look super
crazy.
young.
This is gonna be crazy.
You're gonna look like no other adult in that school. Like whatever school it is, you're gonna look like no other adult. Because you also have all these crazy tattoos. You have a shark's
You're
jaw
so-
on your left,
Right.
right on your you have a
Leg.
shark's jaw surrounding your right knee.
Kneecap. Yeah, I'm gonna have to wear pants for sure.
I
I know, but like I'm just gonna avoid going in the hallway when other children are there because I'm gonna blend in. It's gonna be cuckoo.
Oh my God. You're gonna get like stopped. You're gonna get stopped by one of the teachers and
Literally.
go, honey, the bell rang 5 minutes ago.
Where's your hall pass?
Where is your hall pass, ma'am?
Yeah, so I'm excited though to see how that goes.
That's gonna be absolutely bonkers.
I know. It's gonna be crazy to if I can go back to my high school also.
Becca the substitute.
Like crazy.
Oh, I was gonna tell you, you know how you didn't need like a teaching certificate or anything?
Yeah.
That's literally how my like actual high school worked.
Oh damn.
Because it was a private
You just
school.
apply.
There was a private school,
Oh.
so there were like no rules.
Oh, shout out. Yeah.
You just needed a
I mean, that
bachelor's
makes
degree.
sense. Okay. That makes more sense, I guess. But yeah, for the government, they're like, we do need to check you out.
And that is the
Um,
better thing because I was fully taught by some people who were my
Not
my
qualified.
chemistry teacher in high school, such a nice person, but there's a difference between majoring in chemistry in college and like like learning how to be like a science teacher.
Right.
There's such
Yeah.
a difference between those two things.
Yeah. You can't just know things and
Yeah,
then
you can't
think
you
can
can't
do
just,
them. Yeah.
you know.
Crazy. But yeah, so I'm really excited. I'm sure I'm going to have so many stories from that. I'm
Oh my
also just
God.
kind of doing it for the laughs. Yeah. The reason I'm doing it is for money and for the absolute giggles it'll
I'm
bring
sure it'll
me.
be buffoonery. Have y'all seen Abbott
Yeah,
Elementary? It's gonna be just like that. Oh my God. So
exactly.
do you just get sent anywhere?
So basically, like you can, since it's different districts around me, you just like basically you download an app and then it will let you know if there's like a shift that needs covered and then you can just take it. So
Work.
easy. Yeah. Very nice. And yeah, my sister was actually the one to recommend me because she was like, hey, I know you and I know how you love money. So I
Is she
appreciate
a
that.
t-shirt?
Yes.
Oh.
Yep. She
What does she
is.
teach?
Well, she's a kindergarten teacher at Pocono Mountain.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. And
Good
she's
for
such a
her.
little, yeah, it makes so much sense for her.
Such a
She
fun
loves it.
age.
Yeah. But yeah.
Okay.
And
So Miss
then
Hobart driving Paris to the school. What else has been happening?
exactly. So another one of my personas, Becca, Miss
Oh,
Hobart,
we were talking about this.
and
Yeah.
of course, Beck's Gloss.
Mm-hmm.
There has been more drops, but
Mm-hmm.
as I explained to Quinn, fan base, which recently
Mm-hmm.
Beck's Gloss has hit 100 monthly listeners.
As
This
it
is 100
should.
people
It should
who
actually be at 1 billion monthly listeners, I think.
100 billion, but that's
100
crazy
billion.
anyway. You have to start somewhere, I suppose. And I just imagine it skyrocketing after this episode airs, obviously.
Exactly.
But my distributor does have a programming flaw at the moment. I have contacted them and they have gotten back to me about this. It's a known issue that uploads in the past like month have been going to a separate Spotify page. So I now have two artist profiles. One has Coochie and Killer Queen, and then the second one has Graveyard Heart and Guys, She's Scaring Me.
Which can we get some
Which-
commotion for the names?
Well, thank you so much. But so there's but they're split up into two, but that problem should be fixed in around 24 hours. So when you're hearing this, hopefully it's fixed. One of the profiles is verified and one of them is not.
One of them is not. I'm actually looking right now as we speak.
Yes. Yeah. So the one with 100 monthly listeners, that is the verified one and is the correct one. And
This
she
one has
should have
7
all
monthly
of
listeners though, so that is
Wait,
added to the
is she
100.
verified?
No.
Okay, of course. So yeah, 107. Perfect.
So it's actually 109 altogether.
I'm so famous. It's
Wait,
crazy.
but Graveyard Heart is on here.
It's because I linked it as a like my chosen thing, but it's not
Oh,
under
cool.
like the discography, which is
Yes.
weird.
Oh my
Yeah,
God, it's your
so hopefully-
tattoo.
Yeah. Thanks.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so there'll be another one this week. And then the week after is Halloween weekend. And then the full EP will be out with nothing too
gosh.
new on it, but you know, just a cohesive thing. Last update on my end. Boo! Have you ever been booed?
It in a like booed?
Like, do you know what booing is?
Boo. Hiss, hiss. Oh wait, no, you're talking about when somebody leaves like a ghost at your door.
Yeah, like a
They used to do
treat.
that at my elementary school. Oh my God. I haven't heard about. Oh
So-
my God, Becca, you are taking me
I know.
back.
I had never heard of it until
Literally today.
at my well, no, before that actually,
Okay.
because I myself was booed at work. People had been booing each other, And I got booed by my general manager, and she must have bought me $100 worth of stuff. She
Oh my
booed me
God.
hard.
Oh my God.
She's crazy.
She's
No,
crazy for
literally.
that. She
I was
said,
like,
shift
"Am I
manager
odd?"
Becca. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Boo.
gonna ball out. Boo to you. But so literally, I was like, this is life changing. And
This is a
it
life-changing amount of money.
like I
$100. That's a
$100
life-changing amount of money.
money. Very much me when I won the $100 on Wendy Williams show from
Oh
Chime.
my God.
This is life changing. And bought clothes from Zara. But it's like I love giving gifts, and I think like everyone around the world should be booing each other.
Mhm.
Boo to you. Boo. It's so cute.
I'm a big proponent of just getting people gifts whenever. Like, you don't even have to wait for a holiday. Like, something I love is when I see a little something out for somebody and I'm like, oh my God, I'm gonna get that for them.
Yes.
Like when something
thinking of
sparks
you,
a
thought of
thought.
you.
Wait, can I
Mhm.
ask you? Can I ask you though?
Sure.
So,
Yeah, okay.
taking it to the love languages, because gift
Okay, I
giving
hear
is a
you.
love language.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And so, is like, I ask because I also love giving gifts. Like, giving gifts is one of my main ways. Because with the love languages, I find it interesting that there's a difference between how you like to show your love and how you like to receive your love.
Yeah.
And so when I show love, oh, I love to give gifts. But receiving, not that important to me.
Interesting.
Do you relate? Do you disagree? Do you dispute?
I definitely don't dispute or disagree.
Uh-huh.
Relate is a different story. Because let me tell you this. I think whatever love language I am giving at the moment is what I need reciprocity of.
Oh, interesting.
Like I've taken that love language quiz so many times. I've gotten a different answer
Everything?
every single time.
Mhm.
Yes. So that's really, I am just like Shailene Woodley in Divergent. I have it all. I need it all.
You have it all inside
All
you.
of it is part of me.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yes. So, I am the world's first person to actually experience all the love languages and all the six senses.
Mhm.
And I'm incredibly blessed for that, but it's also a curse because what can I do? Yeah. Okay, so
I'm sorry, Shailene Woodley is just like
that's what's getting you?
Shailene, yes, Shailene Woodley. I just
No, because every once in a while I remember her.
It's so specifically funny to me because of like this joke I have with one of my groups of friends. And then I started thinking, I'm also like Shailene Woodley too, but in The Fault in Our Stars, because sometimes I breathe really hard when I climb stairs.
Oh my God. Gwen. Oh my God. Oh wow.
Oh my God,
Okay.
guys. Okay. Yeah, that was that.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait.
Sure.
What was this even about? Oh, getting booed. Oh. Wait,
Yeah.
and the love language. Wait,
Even.
I had a thought on the love language. Anyway. No, but I find that too, in that sometimes when I find it though when I'm annoyed with people. Like sometimes when I'm
What do
annoyed with
you
people,
Okay.
I'm like, because have you ever heard the thing of like, I think this was a counterpoints, or not counterpoints, ContraPoints thing. Do you watch
Okay.
ContraPoints at all? The YouTuber?
Not really.
You probably like her. She makes all these like
Okay.
political videos, but they're very highly produced.
Okay.
And they're like the counterpoints, they're like the ContraPoints of like alt-right talking points, basically.
Gotcha.
But she does like costumes and makeup and stuff, and so you probably really like it. But she has one on cringe, and she says the thing that makes cringe like really upsetting to us is that we fear we can also be cringe. Like when we see somebody else being cringy, we realize that we ourselves can be cringy, and that is
Yeah,
truly
and
like
scary.
the jump scare of it all.
Yep.
Not the back end I've ever been cringy, but it's something that could
Never.
happen one day, maybe.
Potential. Yeah.
Unlikely, but it could. Anything can happen.
Never say
but
never say
um,
never.
but yeah, and so sometimes when I'm annoyed with people, I'm like, oh, is it because I recognize something in them that I fear is within myself as well?
Ugh.
I also find I project things on people sometimes that like I will put like I'll be like with unfounded, I'll be like, oh, this person is mad at me or disappointed in me because of this thing. And I'm like, well, no. But is that a reflection of how I'm internally feeling about myself?
Mm, well, that's emotionally intelligent for you to recognize.
I know, right? Crazy.
Wow.
Becca and I are gonna take a little break and we'll be back
Mhm.
to get into the main topic of today's episode.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm scared.
Ow. Yep.
And so yeah, we're back now.
Mhm.
And so this week, Becca and I are recording this the week after it happened, but we kind of had the idea when it would have been a little bit more. Anyway, you don't need to know how the sausage gets made, but Becca and I would like to take the chance today to talk about coming out.
Gay.
Hi, gay.
Hi, gay.
Um,
Yeah.
and so I guess we have to come out right now on the podcast.
And here we go.
Here we go. But yeah, we want to talk about coming out today, coming out day, like not, I don't know if it's national or international, but there's like a coming out day that's observed every year on October the 11th.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about it because like obviously it was with that day, and also the last 3 books I've read like all had to like do with like coming out and that kind of thing. And so I've been thinking about it a little bit more recently
On your mind.
than I have in recent years. And I was actually on my trip, I was talking to a friend I made who is also queer. And it's interesting because she is she's 27 and she actually just like came out like officially like earlier like this year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
for
And
her.
so it's a very different, it was interesting talking about it because it was a very different experience from the one I had. And so
Okay.
yeah, just want to talk about it.
I am curious. I feel like I don't really know that much about your coming out story. But yeah, your first question that you have so delicately posed was, when did you realize something was a little wrong?
Wrong.
JK.
JK, guys.
But yeah, when did you realize yourself that you were one of them queers?
One of them queers. It's I always don't I don't love whenever people say, "Oh, I always knew." Like I
Okay.
hate I always feel like that's a very disingenuous thing because like you didn't know what being like gay was when you were, 4 or whatever, or maybe you did, I don't know.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
like I feel like you can't like you can't, it's something you can't like understand about yourself, I feel, until a little bit later. And so I always think it's very disingenuous when people are like, oh, I always knew. But like, did you though?
Yeah.
I mean, with that being said, I don't know. Anyway, signs were always there for me, if you guys can believe it and or not.
Gotcha.
But anyway, now looking back, there are so many signs. They're not signs. Like, I don't know. I guess the way to talk about it is like, I feel like I almost feel like I was never really in a way.
Okay.
It was kind of like a charade everybody was just doing.
Right.
Because like it was like, okay. Like, but I never I guess like sometimes, but like I never like pretend, like I feel like I never like pretended to like not be queer, if that makes sense.
Did you have a girlfriend in elementary school?
I had a girlfriend in preschool.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay, so you was fibbing.
What?
I said, so you was fibbing.
No, I feel like I
Were you-
genuinely did have like feelings for her.
Oh, that's lovely, actually.
No, I feel like I genuinely did have feelings for her.
Who was she?
Her name was Sophia.
I'm jealous.
She's a lovely girl. I follow her on Instagram.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I follow her on
Wonderful. I hope
Instagram.
she's doing well. I wish her the best.
She is doing very well. She's a student athlete,
Whoa.
literally.
Wow.
She runs track and field.
Wow. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, exactly. And so
Exactly.
I don't know. I guess like when I truly realized something was woof, or not woof,
Mhm.
but I guess you could say, because like obviously it was like something I was like aware of. And I forget. I just
Mhm.
remember, I forget how old I was, but I remember being on this like family vacation to my family used to go to the Outer Banks, as we talked about in the vacations episode. I remember one time I was
Mhm.
there and I forget what it was exactly. But I was just like, I think I'm a little fruity. Like I don't like I don't know what it was about that weekend. Like I don't know what like I don't even remember a specific thing, but I just remember like sitting because I was like I remember my room was in like the basement that year.
Mhm.
And so I was just like down there and I was just like, yeah, I think I'm gay. Like and I don't even remember
This
if there was a
basement
specific
has
event.
really brought it to light.
There was something about that rental house in Nag's Head that really just
Did it.
brought my freak out. Like
Good for
um
you.
but yeah. And so I was like, I also remember like knowing for a long time and like
Uh-huh.
not telling anyone, if that makes sense. Because I
Gotcha.
feel like
Yeah.
I feel like it's a thing where it's like you have to, because I of course felt shame around it, which we'll talk about in like a little bit. But
Mhm.
it's like something you kind of want to like, confirm with yourself in a
Yeah.
way and be like, do I actually feel
Yeah.
this way before like publicizing it? Also, I was very young at this point and I was like, oh my God, like I don't know.
Right.
I don't know how to talk
Right.
about this really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I randomly remember like being there and being like, because it like crossed like because obviously like Becca and I grew up in an age, which I don't feel like is like completely bygone, where like, being called gay was like not a good thing. Like in school and
Mhm.
stuff, if you were called gay, that was like not good.
Yeah.
And like growing up, not to put,
Mhm.
but like it was definitely also a thing like within my family where like not like the adults in my life, but like the kids obviously like had internalized that a little bit. And
Okay.
so it was like not a positive thing to be called.
Mhm.
And so that was kind of that's part of where like, any feelings came from. But
Yeah.
Or not any feelings, but like any like bad feelings kind of came from, if that makes sense.
Right.
So, but then I'll talk about it a little bit later when we talk a little bit more about stuff. But like, I will say, going back to like the thing of like, oh, I always knew I was gay. I always knew there was something different about me.
Okay.
Like I always
Right.
knew that I did things differently than a lot of other
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. And it takes a while to like understand like literally the concepts behind like queerness and
Mhm.
like you just don't like you feel something's what quote unquote different, but it takes a while I think to like really actually gain like the verbiage and stuff.
And
So that makes sense.
and I will say in my
Mhm.
own understanding of gender and sexuality, something that I find is interesting is I don't know whether necessarily like I am queer because I sensed that like something different and therefore I felt a little bit more okay to like color outside the line. So like I don't know if like my nature is
Mhm.
such that I felt like my nature was just like a kind of free spirit kind of person. And so then my queer identity is like derivative of that. Or
Mhm.
if there is something, innately queer about me and it's just something I had to discover. And I go back and forth over whether I think, you know, born this way, as it were, is like actually a thing, or whether it's like, or whether there's something that kind of like, whatever it is, something informs you at some point, and then that kind of shapes your tastes in a way, if that makes sense.
I got you. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, yeah, I don't think we'll ever know because it's
Yeah,
not
it's a
really
hard thing to ever
provable.
know, especially with how
Yeah.
we've set up the damn earth.
Literally, guys, I'm pissed off. Anyway.
Who else here
I'm
is
pissed.
pissed? But Becca,
What else here? Yeah.
let me turn the question to you.
Oh, okay.
When did you first understand? When did you first say, "Oh,
Oh.
who said that?"
Who said that?
Mhm.
Well, I can tell you for sure that and it's probably one of the things where it's like looking back, like obviously,
Mhm.
but I will say when I did watch High School Musical, I had a way bigger crush on Gabriella rather than Troy. And so, and we talked about this in Formative Media, I believe, actually, because you love Troy, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, Zac Efron.
I
Yeah.
think Zac Efron in High School Musical is like my sexual awakening.
Yeah, he was so cute then.
Yes.
But I did like, I thought Gabriella, I was in love with Vanessa Hudgens. I actually the
Hmm.
other day found, and I will post photos on our Instagram of this. I
Hmm.
found I have an entire book that I made as a child that is just cut up, collaged photos of Vanessa Hudgens.
Oh my God, like a damn serial killer.
Yeah, like I was scary, but I just wanted to kiss her.
Vanessa said, "Who else here was
Um,
scared?"
I'm terrified. But yeah, so yeah, but it wasn't until like probably middle or high school where I was like, oh, like
You
understanding
said, "Oh
kind of
shit."
what, oh, fuck. Dang it. um,
Dang.
dang it. But yeah, understanding like, I don't know. And then I was like, oh my God, I love being an ally. But it's like, oh, whoa, I might be one of you.
Mhm.
Yeah, probably like in middle or high school. And it was
Um,
like, I don't know. I still like go between the labels and everything that
uh-huh.
I like to use. Um,
Definitely.
but also YouTube was a big help because,
Yes.
I felt like I watched so many coming out videos. It was crazy.
Mhm.
Oh my God. So then I was like, oh, okay, like, yeah, I get it.
I was the
I hope
other
that
way where
answers
I
that.
did not want if like if like somebody I watched came out, like I would watch their video.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I remember the day Connor Frante came out. Like that was crazy.
Yeah. Oh my God, the internet was insane that day.
That was an
Uh,
insane day. Like
yeah.
same with like Joey Graceffa, Shane Dawson.
I know.
Um but like but yeah, it was such a thing,
Hmm.
which is so weird. That is such like a 2010s, like early 2010s internet thing.
Oh yeah.
Like
Like,
nobody's making coming out videos now.
no. And do you remember that? Like, it was the ones that were really insane to me where they would like call someone like coming out not just to the audience, but to people in their lives on camera.
Oh yeah. Oh
Like, do you remember
yeah.
those model twins who
Yes, the
like
twins who
called their
yes.
parents crazy? Like, wow, 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 wow. I mean, they got what they wanted. They got a lot of views, and
Hmm.
then they got to be gay.
Everybody doing
For
it these days.
that. Everybody doing it.
Yeah.
Anything for a click. Anything for a view.
Did you get the
You
clicks,
will
the
be
views, and
gay.
the engagement?
You will be gay for click and view engagement. But yeah, so I guess I realized when I was younger, not I always knew, but then I could like put words to it when I was probably
Hmm.
in middle or high school.
Did you always feel that like in the same way as me? Did you always feel kind of like special? Like, did you like
not in a way that was like, oh, I'm different from everyone else, because I didn't really know what to compare it to, I guess.
Mm,
Um, because I've been really lucky in that like no one in my family ever like presented it as a weird thing. Like I remember when I first asked my mom about like, can two people of the same gender get married? She was like, yeah.
mm,
Even
yeah.
though she was actually wrong, and she actually didn't know that when I was younger, they couldn't. So shouts out to her. She actually invented gay marriage.
Yeah, she was the first one
um
actually.
she was like, yeah, they can. But they
Yes,
did not.
we can.
Yes, we can. Um but yeah, so I didn't feel like different.
Mm,
But yeah, it again, I don't know. I'm kind of like, I kind of get confused and clouded on what I actually thought at the time because of how, looking back, I'm like, oh my God, like, how did you not
mm,
know what to, call this or
yeah.
whatever? But yeah, it didn't like rule my life or anything. And I didn't really think about it that
Mm.
much, to be honest.
Yeah, I definitely never felt like it was like I never felt like I had moments where I was like, oh fuck, because like obviously like um even as a child you can pick up that like, even though being queer is great, it's also not ideal in some in some instances,
Yeah.
especially when, even it's weird to think, but like I feel like things have already changed like so much from when we were at that
You're younger
age.
for sure. Yep.
Um,
I will ask, did you ever have like an experience where you were like, I don't know, did you ever do gay things when you were young that
no,
that were
not
like
really.
secretive? Okay.
Not
Okay.
not like oh not that we're like, you know, I'm not one of those people that's like, oh yeah, I always think it's so interesting when people are like, oh yeah, me and my friend would like jerk off in the same room, but I never thought there was anything gay about that.
Wow.
Or no, I was literally reading a book. I was reading a book where like he realized he like likes a boy and he has like a sexuality crisis, and he's like, well, my friend Liam growing up was gay, but I never like was like attracted to him. There was that one time where like I had like a boner and we were hanging out, and then Liam like jerked me off, but like
But like regular Tuesday.
regular Tuesday. I mean, yeah, like things when I was kids, but like kids are just like kids are just doing anything,
No, that's kind of true.
Like I remember being young and like doing you know, I remember for some reason like when I was like young in preschool, I remember like one time I had this friend and like we were both going to the bathroom at the same time in preschool, and we like had our pants down and we like touched stomachs, but like with our pants down.
Tummy touch.
Yes, a tummy
Classic.
touch. I don't like, and there's obviously nothing
Classic
like
tummy
there's nothing
touch.
like sexual about that or like erotic
Yeah.
even. It was just like, I'm with my
Goofing.
friend. I'm goofing with my friend, but nothing like no, nothing like that for me. Did you have any experiences like that?
Well, I do remember in elementary school, probably like first or second grade, to be honest, me and my best friend would always kiss.
Um,
And we were both like, this is so fun. We love this. But there was a part of me that was like, I shouldn't tell other people about this. Not necessarily
mm,
because she was a girl, but because I was like, I know part of me just was like, oh, we shouldn't be like, I shouldn't be advertising that I've done this before.
mm.
Which,
Do you think it was
I
more
mean,
about
that might just be
kissing?
me.
Do you think it was more about
Yeah,
kissing, or do you think it was
I
about like
think
it being with a
so.
girl? That's
No,
interesting
I think it was, yeah, I think it was more about kissing
because
because
I could
I
totally
also
see how you
kissed,
would think that.
yeah, I also kissed boys when I was younger, like at daycare, and I would make sure no one knew about that either.
Hmm. Like I said,
But Don't kiss and tell. I can't.
I keep it on the cuff.
Exactly.
I love,
That was that.
I love how the question was. I love how the question was like, "How'd you realize?" And then we were both like,
We basically don't know.
yeah."
We just kind of did.
You're something.
I don't know. It's pretty innate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so when then was like kind of like the first time do you remember slash like do you remember like when you started telling a person or people or like, and who those people were?
Yeah. When I got to college, I was like, um, I don't know if people asked or like, I don't know, like my friends that I met in the dorm like freshman year, like
Mhm.
immediately I was like, yeah, I'm like not straight. Yeah, I'm bi, I'm queer, whatever. Um, and it's not like for high school I was like hiding it, but like
Mhm.
no one cared, no one asked. I never talked about it
Yeah.
with anyone.
Mhm.
So I don't know. I didn't feel the need to like talk about it, but then it became more of a point of conversation when in college also like one of my friends was bi, and then
Mhm.
there was someone else on the floor who was also bisexual. So I was like, let's kiki, let's talk about this.
Where are all
So
the
yeah.
bisexual baddies at?
Yeah. And
Mhm.
then yeah, like my family, well, I never talked to my dad about it, so I don't even know it, but I don't know. He knows that I like Phoebe Bridgers and blah 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 blah.
He
But
knows.
but then I like actually talked to my mom about it on when I was also in college. Again, like
Mhm.
we just never had talked about it before. It wasn't like I was hiding it or felt like in the closet specifically. But
Mhm.
she goes, "Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I knew that." Awesome.
She goes Queen Legend.
Literally, like, okay, cool. So yeah, I don't know. Part of me was like, I guess I never had to say anything and everyone would have just understood.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
yeah. How about you?
I very specifically I remember because I told you I definitely realized like it was a thing that was like about myself in middle school where like I did go through a period of like trying to deny it because like I like obviously knew
Okay.
I was like attracted to, and I don't even like, just to clarify, like my own, I always use like queer as my identifier if
Hmm.
anybody like actually asks about it.
Yeah.
And so I'm not like, kind of the closest thing I have to like what I believe like describes me. Actually, I do believe with everything I know about like identity that like if I did have to pick a label, like the most accurate one is actually like bisexual.
Hmm.
Um, because my understanding of bisexual is that it like you have attraction to more than one gender, but you do have like preferences and stuff.
Right.
Whereas like something like pansexual means like gender doesn't really like inform your attraction to people,
Yeah.
which I would say is not true for me. So, and
Gotcha.
also, I know there's like by erasure, all this like terrible, bisexual people have been discriminated outside and inside
Yeah.
LGBT communities for a long time. But can I say to me, the coolest thing you can possibly be is bisexual.
The colors are so nice.
Yeah, the coolest thing you can be is bisexual.
That's mostly why I always used that label is because I love pink, purple, and blue.
Why we pretend like it wasn't cool? Just saying like I'm like every bisexual person I know is like one of the coolest people I know.
Yeah, and
The
they're
coolest
usually
person I
hot.
know who I'm on the Zoom call with is bisexual.
Guys. Literally.
Literally. Anyway,
So wait, I do have a question though, because I've never asked you this. Would you like would you date a woman?
I
Like
think
cis woman?
I don't know. I would never say never. Like
Okay.
I don't find myself like,
Particularly drawn
yes, I don't
in
find
that
myself
way.
attracted to them often as I am attracted to like what we would, associate with like men or even like masculine people.
Yeah.
No, but Becca and I have discussed
Yeah.
there is a handsome woman that we are both very attracted to.
Hmm. I hope
I'm
you're
just
listening.
saying,
That's all I can say.
at some point, a stud could turn me out. Like a stud could truly turn me out. Like I think I think I could
Yeah.
do it. No,
Yeah. I think I
but
can
yeah,
do
it's just it's not like it's all yeah, like
okay.
yeah, I don't know. It's not yeah.
Mhm.
I would never say like never. I don't think it's like
Yeah.
particularly likely based off like my taste and stuff, but also like I'm not like, you know, I just see myself as kind of like open to it, if that makes sense.
Gotcha. That's a beautiful thing.
Because as we said, I have had like romantic feelings for women.
Hmm. Yeah.
Um Obviously Sophia from preschool. And then
Hmm.
I had a crush on this girl from like I had a crush on this girl for like we met in the first grade. I've developed a crush on her in like the second grade, and we went to school with each other until like the eighth grade. I had a crush on her the whole time.
Wow. That's so cute.
Yeah, for like 6 years. I was like in like I had such a
And it
big
was
crush on
definitely
her. Yes,
romantic
like it was
crush.
like I was friends with
Wow.
her, and like
Okay.
it's hard in elementary school and like middle school because like it kind of depends on where your classes are and stuff.
Yeah.
But like whereas like some of my best friends in college, like I never had a class with, but like
Yeah.
you had to have class with people to like kind of maintain friendships and stuff. Um,
Hmm.
and so, but yeah, I had a very big crush on her.
Love that.
Um, and so that's also something that led me to believe that like, and I just believe I also something I fundamentally believe about sexuality and gender identity is that it's something that is not fixed
So true.
and it is like in flux. And even, and even if you don't associate that with gender per se,
Hmm.
it could just be in the things that like, turn you on,
Hmm.
you know. I believe our sexuality and our gender identity kind of evolves as we understand ourselves in the same way that we
Yeah.
talked about with like coming out. Like your understanding of yourself grows a little bit.
Yep. Yeah.
Not to say you can't know certain things about like yourself and like set boundaries or whatever, but like I think at least for me, I find that my relationship with those things grows.
All the time.
Yes. Hmm.
Yeah.
And so yeah, but back to when I start to tell people. So
Right.
like I knew I was like attracted. I was like feeling this like newfound attraction, like physical like attraction to men. um but like I pretended like it wasn't real for for a while, and that like whenever I like imagined my life, like I was like, oh, I'll get married to like a woman and we'll have like a family and stuff. Like I had very much like that view of my life,
Hmm.
but I was like, but I'll be like attracted to men. um
Just
and
secretly.
then I kind of realized I was like, okay, well that's not, that's not
Good.
what the case is, Mary.
Yeah.
And it was funny. I remember my best friend in middle school. Well, like this is part of the thing with like coming out, like you said, Becca, like what your mom said. It's like it was just like it was like an open secret. It was just like something everybody knew about me. It felt
Yeah.
like because
Yeah.
I've always been a very feminine person. Not that
Hmm.
feminine means gay, but um but like I've always been drawn to sparkly purses. I love to dress up as a child. I love
Hmm.
wigs, like all these like tick 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 tick. I ticked all the boxes, and so like
Yeah.
no one was like surprised, shocked, and all or whatever. But yeah, I remember specifically one time my like best friend in middle school, there was this like time in our English class. We were in eighth grade English together, and we like got to sit next to each other like one time with like the seating charts, and so that was like a
Hmm.
party. So like we sat next to each other that one day, like that couple months. And
Yeah.
I remember one time when we were like sitting in that configuration, she was like, she like, I forget if she asked me or like if she was like whatever, but we like somehow got on the topic, and she was like, Quinn, I just want you to know that like if you were gay, it would be okay to tell me. And I was like, okay.
Oh my
And like
God.
I was like like alarms were going off in my head and I was like, but I was like,
I will keep
no.
you posted.
I was like, okay, but I don't think I'll have anything to tell you, unfortunately. Whereas like I knew I had something to tell her. But
Yeah.
um
Lying.
oh yeah. Oh yeah, I
Also,
lied.
she lied.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, so like even like, and then it wasn't long after that summer. Was it that summer or was the next summer? No, it was definitely that summer. So the summer after 8th grade, I remember I did a camp with my one really good friend, Kat,
Mhm.
and a good friend of mine, Hannah. So I knew Kat before, and then I met Hannah at the camp, but Kat and Hannah had known each other because they went to school together.
Mhm.
And so we were doing a production of Legally Blonde Junior.
Classic.
And
Uh-huh.
so we all got really close because it was like summer stock theater camp. So it was like 2 weeks from 9 a.m. in the morning to like 3 p.m. in the afternoon. We were together.
Mhm.
And so you get really close. And so I remember one day we were in like the back of the theater and they were like the first two people I told.
Aw.
And I was like, yeah. So came out of summer camp and that was like the first
Cute.
time I had like there was also a boy in that production and he was like the first like kind of like official canonical boy I had a crush on.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And so lots of new feelings going on. And so from then on, like I would just like I would tell everybody I felt safe with, like all my like new friends and stuff I made, like I would always like tell them and just like it would just be a thing that like people kind of knew about me.
Yeah.
And then I didn't end up talking to I didn't talk to my mom about it because as I don't know if we've talked about it extensively on the podcast, but while I was in high school, I went to Catholic school, as we've covered, an all boys Catholic school.
Right.
And I was really good friends with a senior when I was a freshman, and he was like openly gay. And so he obviously had a little bit of a rough time at the school, but he had founded GSA, Gay Straight Alliance,
Mhm.
while he was at the school. And because of like lack of interest and stuff, it like kind of went dormant after he graduated. And
Gotcha.
then my junior year, the advisor for the club was my ASL teacher, a lesbian, famously. Shout out to her.
Website.
And I went to her and I was like, can we like get that back up and running again? And she was like, yeah, I'll be here, but it has to like, obviously it has to come from like the students and stuff. But if students wanted to take it up and like have it be a thing again, then I would be there to support it. And so I was like, okay. And so then I started to like build like the GSA back up.
Mhm.
And so yeah. And then we had like organized this like week of programming or something. And I think because we were like, the administration kind of like discounted us. And so they were like, oh, they don't have like anything planned. But we had like planned all these activities for people. And then we like sent it all to the thing we had sent it all to like the principal to be like, okay, we're gonna do this like week of programming that we've been working on. And they were like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Who said
Too
that?
much.
Yeah, because I think they were just like, oh well, like, but I was like, no guys, we gotta do this. And so I like
Mhm.
was something. So I remember it was like it was a national like initiative by GLSEN, which is the Gay and Lesbian Student Educators Network, called No Name Calling Week. That's like an anti-bullying, especially for like queer kids and stuff. And so
Yeah.
we had organized like a week of activities for like homerooms and stuff. And then they like delayed it, so we weren't going to be like in accordance with like the national week and stuff. And so I was fucking pissed. I was pissed about that. And so then I was like, oh, I was like so mad. And I came home and like me and my mom went out to dinner and I was so mad about it. I was telling her about the whole thing. I was like, this is bullshit. And I forget like why in the comment, but she was like, why are you so like frustrated by this and like all this stuff? And I obviously knew why I was so frustrated by it because it was very,
Mhm.
you know, personal.
Mhm.
And then eventually it just like came out. And like this was by the time that like it's also hard to like, I don't know if you feel this at all, but sometimes it is hard to talk to my parents about it, just because we like, even in like, I guess 2 generations since my parents have, but like between me and my parents, but like in like the time between like me at this age and like my parents, when they like
Mhm.
understand and like learned about all this stuff, it's such a different understanding that like people our age have of these things and like people my parents' age do, for instance.
Yeah, it's true.
And so it could be really hard to like I remember I didn't even like, because I didn't like, by the time I talked to my mom, I like didn't identify as like gay, and I still don't identify as like I truly don't identify as like gay truthfully. I
Mhm.
always say like being gay is like for me more of like a cultural thing, especially like gay men's culture is how I was like socialized, and so that's kind of how I like
Yeah.
appear and stuff, but I don't identify as a gay man, obviously.
Mhm.
um and so it was like hard to say to my mom, but I was like, oh, I'm just like not exactly straight. And after I said that to her, she was like, she really said, is this the part where I accept the award for like pretending like I didn't know?
Oh my God,
So they literally
Christine.
this like this emotional ass moment, and she's just taking the opportunity
She
to fucking
dunked on
razz
you.
me. And I was literally she dunked.
Boom.
Someone
Good
was
for
over there
her.
like this, and she said,
At the Chili's.
"It was actually
Boom
La
pow.
Tolteca." Um,
Even better.
I came out in my ultimate safe space, a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah. Guac on the table.
Somewhere where I feel
Good.
so safe, where I will always feel safe, in a Mexican restaurant. Um, and yeah, and that was like the only person I ever, because my mom was like, of course afterwards, my mom was like, you owe your father a conversation. And I was like, not anything against my dad, but I was like, do I? Because I'm of the belief you owe no one a conversation. And that was kind of
Yeah.
that was my whole kind of thing with like having like a whole like coming out thing, because I'm already not like a person who like loves those kinds of like scenarios and like conversations and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I just didn't feel like there was anything to tell. Like, I feel like, again, going back to like, I feel like everybody knew it was up.
Yeah.
And so why we have to like say it, you know?
Make a thing. Yeah. Make a big thing out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's exactly what I didn't want it to be. So I never like, in the same way in the same way as my mom. And it was also like, I didn't go to the Mexican restaurant that night intending to like be like I'm gonna come out to my mom tonight.
Yeah.
I just
Here we go.
it just ended up happening.
Occurred. Yeah.
And so, and that was the other thing. It felt organic in a way that like I felt like I didn't want to do something unorganic with other people, if that makes sense. Like I
Yeah.
didn't want it to, and I also just knew my mom would tell my dad anyway. So like,
Yeah. You don't need to have a,
and
yeah.
you know what I was right about? That. So
Mm-hmm.
um
Did he ever talk to you about it then? Like
no,
afterwards?
no, my dad's very supportive of me, but it was just, you know,
Okay.
we
Yeah.
have like we talk about it now and stuff, but it was like, you know,
Okay.
he
Good.
didn't like come to me and was like, hey, you know,
Why?
my
Why
mother
are you
told
gay?
your mother told me what you are. Like, no.
Say it. I know what you are.
Like, no,
Say
and that
it.
was honestly like what I want. Like, I wanted it not to be a thing,
Gotcha.
but I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know. It's so complicated because I also read a thing. I don't know if it was in one of my books or whatever, but it was like, yeah, I'm gay, but is there anything like somebody like came out and they're like, I'm gay, but is there anything different about me? And I'm like, well, yeah,
You are gay.
you are exactly, exactly. But like, I feel like it was really, I feel like it goes back to that like thing of like, which I hate this, but like, that whole like mid 2000s, early 10s idea of like, oh, I'm gay, but I'm not like that gay. Like, I'm not like, you know, Yas Queen gay. Whereas like, no, I am Yas Queen gay. Like,
And I will always
I say
be.
Yas, I say work, I say, you know, faggot, like whatever. Like
Mhm.
um
Yeah.
and so like I feel like that whole like thing of like, I'm gay, but like, nothing's fundamentally different about me. It's like, well, I feel like it's kind of derivative of that. And so I feel like that kind of bothers me, but maybe I could be wrong about that.
Mhm. No, I think, I mean, yeah, like, yeah, you're gay. Like, I don't know, what more can we say?
There's something
You
different
are
about
gay.
you.
Yeah,
You're not
you
like
do
the other
stand apart in
girls.
that way.
Yeah.
Literally.
But that was just something that I also thought about when we was talking
Mhm.
about this. Okay.
Yeah.
So I did want to ask you this question as well, because this is
Okay.
something I find interesting. But did you ever like feel shame around being a queer person, a queer woman even?
Um, I really don't think so.
Mm.
Um, yeah, because by the time that I was like came to terms with like whatever that means, came to terms with it,
Mhm.
like it kind of became like cool,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
And so I don't know. And now it's like, yeah, it's really no big deal. I've never experienced anything negative from it. I'm
Mhm.
so lucky.
Yeah.
There's been no downsides other than like, well, my romantic life has so much turmoil, but that is not due to the fact that I'm queer. That's just
It's due to the
besides
other queer people I have to deal with.
the it has been tough, but anyway. um, yeah, I don't think so. But how about you? Did you deal with shame
Yes,
or
I definitely dealt with shame, but like looking back, I don't know exactly where it came from, because
mm,
my family my family was always like very accepting, like in the way that like upper middle class, like liberal
yeah.
families are, like center left families are. um
Yeah.
but
Center
like
left.
in like a way that's
Mhm.
like, oh yes, born this way, yes. Now that I have more queer politics, there's a little bit more divergence. But
Yeah.
um like I never felt like anybody was like, I think it was more just like societal like shit.
Yeah.
And like just
Yeah.
like, because like I feel like we came up when like when homophobia was like shifting from overt to covert.
Mm-hmm.
And so like it wasn't that like gay people couldn't exist in society in the same way that like when my parents were growing up it probably felt like, but
Yeah.
it just felt like it was like, okay, you can be gay, but just don't be like, shouting from the
So out
rooftops
there.
about it.
Yeah.
You can be
Yeah.
gay, you don't have to march in like a pride parade though.
Mm-hmm.
You can be gay, you don't have to talk
Yeah.
to your coworkers about it. Like that's very much
Yeah.
like the culture that I feel like we came up in. And like
Mm-hmm.
um when like the culture is that way, it's not worse than like an overt culture of like homophobia. But I always say on an individual level, I'd rather somebody be like
Mm-hmm.
overtly bigoted than like covertly bigoted, because then at least you like if somebody's saying like, if somebody's calling me a faggot, then like I know,
Mm-hmm.
and not in an endearing way, because
Yeah.
but like if somebody's, calling me a slur, whatever, like I know that they're homophobic. But like if somebody's like, oh well, I believe gay people should be able to get married, but maybe like when it comes to like showing like gay relationships on TV, I don't know what that does to children. Like that's a more like, I would prefer knowing somebody's homophobic than like
Yeah.
having
Then
somebody say something that doesn't sound homophobic but ultimately is.
yeah.
But like
I
the
know
people
what you
can be like,
mean.
I'm not being homophobic, I'm just thinking about this and this.
Yeah. No,
Mhm.
I totally agree. Because again, just be what you are. And if
Yeah,
you are homophobic, sure.
girl, be
I
that.
don't want you. I don't want you to be that, but be that.
Yeah, be
You
that so I
know?
know who to avoid.
Exactly. Because
Hmm.
you will not be my friend.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
And if you want to
I
be my
mean,
friend, you can. You just can't be homophobic anymore.
yeah, and you probably actually are gonna have to be gay now that I say it.
I do
I
have one
would
straight friend. Actually, I do have
really?
multiple. I have multiple.
Okay.
I think I have a
Well,
couple. I think I have a lot of straight friends actually.
I don't know. I think I used to have more straight friends. Now people are switching up. Anyway,
Funny how y'all switch up.
I did it first. But anyway, um, I will say that something that I do, it's not maybe a reason why I didn't really ever feel shame is
Mm,
because, especially when I was using the term bisexual, there is still always this, and this is like part of biphobia or whatever, that like
mm-hmm,
bisexual women, it's like very much viewed as a phase or just like something fun, and
mm-hmm.
that they ultimately will end up still with like in a heterosexual relationship.
Uh-huh.
Um, so there's definitely less pressure on bisexual women than on bisexual men, as
Mm-hmm.
like, you know, if we're in that, if we're just thinking in binary terms and
Yeah.
stuff, and like that comparison. Um, so I don't know, like I just think, yeah, I'm coming from like a privileged place in this big community. And
Mm-hmm.
so I think that's, I would like to acknowledge that is contributing to part of why I have been so lucky and not
Mm-hmm.
really had any negative experiences.
Yes.
Quick
Yeah.
shout out.
And I feel very as events by this conversation, I feel very similarly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm definitely in a more privileged position than most. Um, and so yeah. So thank you for recognizing that. But yeah, it was definitely yeah, bisexual women are definitely like also fetishized in a weird way.
Yeah, for sure.
It's like a fantasy. I feel like that's starting to
Actually,
go away a little bit, but you know, you probably know
I
better
don't
than
know.
me.
But then we have songs like Bi Wife Energy. He has bi wife energy. And it's like, okay, is this a result of, are we like fetishizing now the men who are like cool and down enough and down to earth enough to have a bisexual wife?
Hmm.
But it's like, guys, what? Like, guys, what's going on? I don't know. That whole thing is very interesting to me
Yes. Hmm. That's a
because
whole other
part of me
podcast
is
episode.
more, I know, part of me is like, my initial reaction is like, oh, a guy is like cool with his wife being bi, like that's hot. But it's like,
Hmm.
wait, why
Shouldn't
wouldn't
he?
that be
That's just
cool?
the default.
Yeah. Like,
Like you should
oh
just
my
be
God. We're just constantly congratulating men who like do the bare minimum.
1,000%, 1,000%.
One time, I was talking to my friend Josh, and this was my freshman year of college, and we were like, why are we attracted to men who will like at a party or at a bar or whatever, will like stop another guy from like being creepy towards you? Like if a guy's like, hey, don't like force yourself on her. We're like, that's so hot he did that. But it's like, oh my God, it's the bare minimum you could do.
That's yeah. Hmm.
Like,
It's like in
don't
fact
assault
what
her.
you like there's a little bit of a responsibility on you to do it even some
Yeah.
might
Like
argue.
actually you must do it.
Yeah.
So crazy. Yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know.
But it is like it's like the modern day of like, oh my God, he fought for my honor.
Literally like uh oh my God. Men.
No,
I'm
yeah.
scared.
It's also like, have you ever like I guess I can talk about I don't think my brother listens to this podcast, but like my brother one time, like my brother will be like my brother will sometimes like take things on and it's like it's sweet. It all comes from a good place, but he like takes things on that I like don't ask him to because I've like talked to him about like, you know, the F slur, faggot. I guess I
Mhm.
don't know why. Um but
Yeah.
like I talked to him about that and how it's like some queer people, including myself, like to like reclaim the term a little bit and like me
Mhm.
and my friend Corey just like say it like it's the word like or literally as my mother would say. I like to say a lot. But like, you know, it's constantly flying around and my brother I like explained to my brother why it's like, you know, it's cool for us to say it, but like not for like other people. And so he was like, okay, cool. And then like he like heard somebody saying it at a bar one time. And he was like, yeah, I just want you to know, I went up to them and I was like, hey man, that's not cool. My brother's gay. And he told me that like you can't say that.
Serving Hillary Duff.
And then this is not funny, but it kind of is.
Oh my God,
The guy
what?
just goes, fuck you and your faggot brother.
That is really funny. You can't even write that. That's
Like,
so good.
like he kind of ate my brother up. Like that's
He doubled down. He doubled down. He dunked on
and
him.
what did Becca and I say? If you're gonna be homophobic, just be fucking homophobic. And
that.
that guy is
And
clearly
look.
homophobic.
Yeah. And he served. Yeah.
Another thing we could
That's
talk
really
about.
hilarious, though.
Yeah, I yeah. But then my brother was like presenting it to me like
Gold star.
I
Did good?
I was on my ally behavior, and I was like, and again, it's like that thing you said of like, yeah, Liam, that's what you should. If you hear somebody saying like faggot, who's
Yeah.
you know, not if you know for a fact they're not straight, then be like, hey, like you should be like, hey, don't say that.
Yeah.
Especially if you are somebody who doesn't identify as queer.
For sure.
And so, yeah, another phenomenon. And so, to kind of, start to wind down our conversation. What do you believe in 2022 is kind of like the role of coming out?
Such a good question. I mean, right now, I think we're in an in-between time where coming out is less for, and I'm generalizing, of course. There's people who coming out is like still dangerous, like a huge deal, like life-changing. But I would say for more people, it is less extreme. At least like in a bigger picture sense.
Yeah.
It, of course, like personal feelings can feel really extreme for anyone and no matter the circumstances. But it's also a little bit less like, what I'm trying to find a word for it. Radical.
Yes.
So I hope that one day it's not even a thing and you just get to be what you are and no one is nosy about it. Be who you are. I saw you hold it back. Never swallow be who you are, because then you are not being who you are. Let this be a lesson to you. Let this be a lesson. As
Becca said, never swallow. And I've been saying that for years.
And that's part of the gay agenda. Okay. So, yeah, I feel like we're in an in-between time where like people are doing it, people are coming out, it's good. But I hope really soon that no one has to. And so honestly, if you're about to come out, don't, so you can be part of the future. Hold yourself right there. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I go back and forth because also like labels are, I don't know. Sometimes I feel too much. Sometimes it's like, oh, that's nice. Like community and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like, things people are constantly discussing and talking about and like how much they matter or whatever. But yeah, I'm just kind of like, I don't know. Like, I don't think I'll ever come out to another person. Like, I'm not gonna, I don't know, Well,
that is also, I'm glad you said that, because I also feel like it's like you're kind of constantly coming out, or like I don't even know anymore because it's like now that I'm an adult, because like for instance, when I talk about the fact that like in one time in my life I had a boyfriend, when I talk about that, it's like it's like I'm not saying I'm it's not the same thing as saying I'm gay, but like you know, it is a coming out in a way because, you know, whether people like assume something about you or, you know,
Yeah.
I think that's what it is in my case, at least. I don't think anybody's like looking at me and he's like, oh my God, he like fucks chicks. But like, or maybe
You
people
go with
don't,
it.
I mean, yeah. Oh my God. But like in a way, that's like coming out when you like acknowledging your
Yeah.
queerness. How much of acknowledging your queerness to another person is like coming out, if that makes sense.
Coming out again. Exactly. Because then
Mhm.
it's like, do you come out every time someone new learns that you aren't straight? Or do
Mhm.
you come out every, like, what even is really coming out?
Is it coming out if that person was
Yeah.
already suspecting and you just confirmed?
Yeah. I don't know, guys. That's why you have to always guess people's sexuality
Yes.
so that it's not, you reduce the amount of coming outs. Every time you see someone, you have to guess.
You don't assume, but you do guess. You do wager.
You do guess.
There's a difference between
Yeah.
assuming and making judgments based off of that versus making a little bit of an educated guess.
And honestly, go for it, guys. So comment below each other's sexualities, please. Nah, but for real. So yeah, I mean, I don't really, basically my answer to the question is I don't really know. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah. So what do you think about coming out, Quinn, and the role it plays? ATM.
Oh, I was like ATM, ATM. I believe that when you come out, you should have to do a synchronized dance to ATM by Brie Runway. But anyway,
Mhm. Yeah.
that's a personal belief I have. Anyway,
Or Hot Girl by Charlie XCX. I'm a hot girl.
Either
I do
or.
hot shit.
And yeah, yeah, it's interesting because it's like, in a way, it's like nobody is in touch. Like, I remember I heard this from a priest one time.
Whoa.
Did I tell this story? When I was
Deep cut.
I started dating my boyfriend, it had been like 2 weeks. Crazy thing to say, but
Wow,
I was
yeah.
like, we were on like religious retreat, and part of like the retreat was like the sacrament of reconciliation or confession. And so I was like in confession, and I did not feel bad for being gay, but I did feel bad for like withholding from my family that I was in a relationship. And I'll never forget. The priest said to me, Quinn, no one is entitled to your truth but you.
Whoa.
Literally.
Serving hot priest.
Literally.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fucking
He literally said, no one is entitled to your truth but you. So if you're not ready to share like that thing, that's okay. And I said, so I'm not even doing anything wrong, is what you're telling me.
I've been affirmed. Yeah. Or even proven wrong, actually. Wow. That's a beautiful thing, though.
Wow. Yeah.
I will think about this.
No, that was I was like, oh my God. And so yeah, but that is a thing where it's like, I also think about like, because you mentioned the thing about YouTube. What if there are people who are like 12 who listen to this podcast, Becca?
What if there are 12?
Yeah, like what if there are like 12-year-olds or like 13-year-olds or 14-year-olds like
oh.
this podcast? Could you damn imagine? First of all, turn this off. For legal reasons, turn this off. But
yeah. Quinn has said the F word multiple times now. I guess that's an explicit word. Is it a curse word? Okay.
Our podcast is rated explicit, and we gotta earn that rating. Becca and I come into the studio every week and we say,
fuck. How
can we earn that rating this week? Yeah, and so our YouTube setting for when we upload our videos is specifically set to not mate her kids.
Okay, cool.
And so
perfect.
But it is like, no one is entitled to your truth. So if you ever like, you don't have to tell anybody if you don't want to, if you just want to show up with your significant other who reveals the fact that you're queer to your family to a family holiday, you can do that. It might make things awkward and you have to be prepared for that. But
are you talking about the lesbian movie with Kristen Stewart? the Christmas one.
Oh my God. Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
Like something
is
like
what
that. The
happens in
Happiest
that.
Season, a really good movie, actually.
Yeah, it was cute.
If you, but like if you, if it's something like that, you gotta be prepared in a way. But
Yeah.
I think it's also, it's like there's a point where it's like you don't have to tell anybody, but you also can't be like, you also can't expect like realistically, like if I had never came out and I just like came home with like a significant other or something
Uh-huh.
and like out of the blue, like I couldn't like, it would be it would be a big expectation to place on my family, just be like, okay,
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
anybody, like
Someone would
just
say
anybody.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, and I guess that's just the
Yeah.
reality of doing something that like, the majority of people don't do, if that makes
Aren't
sense.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally.
And so, yeah, I guess I don't really know the
Mhm.
role of coming out in today's society. Ava.
It's TBD.
Yeah, it's TBD.
TBD. Yeah. So
Constantly
I'll let you guys
evolving.
know.
And Becca and I are
Yeah.
becoming like Becca and I sometimes I feel myself becoming old. Even
Don't
though
even
I'm
talk about it.
21.
I know. I literally feel like I'm 35.
Yeah, no. And like sometimes you can feel like the trend cycle like moving on. No, and like
Yeah.
do you ever think about when you talk to old people, or not old people, but like, middle-aged people, or maybe even like old people, and like it's like, you are like, oh my God, I can't believe they think this way about that thing. But then one day the shoe's gonna be on the other damn foot, probably.
I hope not. I hope I stay on Twitter long enough.
Oh my God. That's our anti-aging serum. Y'all
Exactly.
y'all are using retinol, SPF, all that stuff to try to combat aging. But the real aging
Not
happens in
me.
here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why you
I'm
must
using
stay
that
on
Bluebird app.
but that's why you must stay on that Bluebird app, because that's where all of it starts.
Yeah. Stay intellectually sharp, guys. All the tweets I like are like pee pee poo poo.
Me liking
I'm
the
like, yeah,
dumbest tweet
I'm with the
ever.
times.
I'm so
Literally.
me being like, I'm so esoteric. Me going on Twitter and being like, it being me watching a video of gorillas.
Pussy
like,
fart. Gorillas. Grooming each
oh my
other.
God, yeah.
Yeah, I can't even describe it.
Well, I think that's Becca and I's conversation on coming out.
Yeah.
I don't know if we
There was no cohesiveness really in this.
and that's what people come to
I
the
mean,
show for, I guess.
yeah, and that's the beauty of queerness, I suppose.
Yeah.
You can have it all.
We were post-structural this episode in that, we might have not really said anything of value, but
We don't have the answers, guys.
we don't have the answers.
No, but
Or maybe we are.
hell yeah.
We are gonna throw
No, but
one
yeah.
more. What's she?
Sorry.
What'd you say?
I said no, but yeah.
No, but yeah.
No, but yeah. No, but yeah.
We're gonna throw to one more little break, and then we'll be back to our little segments.
Yes.
Guys, I'm scared.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Did you serve what you thought you served?
I don't know. I don't know what I thought I would serve.
I don't know either. We'll have to see.
Did that even pick up? Like, did you hear that? Or did it like blow
Yeah,
out
I
the
heard
mic?
it, but no, I heard it, but like I don't know if it did the effect you wanted with your glass. It mostly just sounded like the grunt.
Like the what?
like the grunt of it, like the like that. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for doing that again for clarity. But guys, so we are back again. So after we spent all this time being gay, we are now going to move on to our weekly segments. Firstly, we have a comment corner again, but Guys, like we say every time, now that we've used this one, we are all dried up. So we need to be soaking wet again. And we're going to have
Really?
to have you guys send in some more stuff. Please do that. And also please comment on everything you see from us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
But today's comment corner is from someone who actually I do know actually pretty well, considering I did live with her for 3 years. So, which is kind of crazy. It is from Macy, my college roommate. So this email is actually outdated. It is from August 28th, and we're just now getting round to it.
I did not realize it
So
was
guys-
that long ago.
I know. This is just more proof of why we need more material. Look at how old and dried up this email is.
Literally.
Okay. But I will read it.
Mhm.
So she says, "Hi, Quinn and Becca!" Exclamation times 4. I have been a fan of the podcast from the beginning, but recently it has started to mean something different to me. I used to listen to it while I was doing other things as something fun and interesting to listen to in the background. Unfortunately, I've started to experience a good bit of social anxiety lately. You know that feeling after you spend a ton of time alone and then group activities just feel very stressful? That's me. Your podcast has started to give me the social aspect of talking with friends without this added stress, and I'm so thankful. And then I will also be reading her weekly jump scare and manic pixie moment to really include her in the episode.
Mhm.
So her jump scare, first of all, thanks, Macy. We're so glad.
Yes. 1,000%.
Yeah, 1,000%. Her jump scare of August 28th week was: a man approached my party of 4 while we were ordering our brunch at an outdoor table. He then proceeded to ask the boys at the table if they could help him move a filing cabinet. Being naive cis white men, they had no qualms about walking away with strange old man. 25 minutes later, they come back covered in dirt right before our food arrives. Turns out this man was a hoarder and kept asking them to move things until they eventually escaped. And that's why I will never trust a stranger. Help a stranger. Oh my God.
I forgot.
And then her
about
manic
this.
that's crazy. And then her manic pixie moment was she's back in Oakland, which is actually where the University of Pittsburgh's campus is. And then she said, "Remember, you're a rock star." I might even be a rock star.
I might even be a rock star.
So that was very slay.
Yes.
I think that jump scare does resonate a lot with me. I don't know, just every time I help an old person, it does end bad. And I'm realizing I did put on the in list for fall helping your neighbor rake their leaves.
Mhm.
To be fair, you never have to enter their home for that, as long as
Mhm.
you have
Your
own
neighbor doesn't
rake,
have to be
which-
old necessarily either.
Yeah, so they can be middle-aged or even young.
Young and
But-
lazy.
Young and real lazy.
What are Becca and I if not young and lazy?
Young and lazy, literally. But yeah, Macy, thanks for sharing. That is really scary.
Mhm.
And I am glad you're back in Oakland.
Uh,
I did
Where you've
visit
probably
you.
been for months now.
Yeah, and I did visit you actually after this email, so that's crazy.
Oh my God. No, but it is true
Yeah.
about I've found, because I've spent a lot of time alone lately,
Mhm.
it is really nice to like listen to, because obviously I love podcasts, but like I've also listened to like a good bit of them because it's like, it helps you feel like, someone's there
Yeah,
when you might not want to talk to strangers.
for sure.
And so yeah. But now we come to the point in our program
Mhm.
where we do our manic pixie moments of the week and our jump scares of the week. This is going
Yay.
between 2 accents right now, and I'm really uncomfortable with it. But anyway,
Ugh.
so our jump scare of the week is something that made us go, something that maybe said boo to us, but not in the way where we win hundreds of dollars, a life-changing amount of money, a life-changing amount of money. Not in that way, but it changes our life in a way where we now look at the world differently. Another piece of our innocence has been taken.
Yeah.
Something that we believed about the world turns out to maybe not be the truth. And so, Becca, what was that moment for you over these you have 2 whole weeks. Actually, probably more
Yeah,
than that.
I think
Almost
probably
3
three actually.
weeks. Almost 3 weeks since last we
Yeah.
talked.
hmm to be honest, I didn't prepare these moments. So
Mhm.
this was the first moment that came to mind for a jump scare.
And that's always a great place
And
to
that
go.
is exactly. As you may know, being a huge fan of Below Deck, I am subsequently a huge fan of espresso martinis.
Uh-huh.
And so I've only ever gotten them out at restaurants and stuff like that. I've
Mhm.
never made my own or bought them in a can. So believe me, when I saw them at Wegmans in a seltzer can, and I read that there was 2 espresso martinis per can, I said, I must get these. I must pick them up. And then I was like, okay, and there's 0 carbs. How lovely.
Were they the ones that Lauren told you about when Lauren
They were,
Taylor was on this podcast?
I was going to say, it wasn't from the brand Loverboy, which I still am on the email list for. But
Becca's
it
like, I'm
was,
checking every day.
I'm literally refreshing the page. But no, it was the same thing, just a different brand.
Mm.
But I cannot describe how do I say this? Fucking disgusting they were. They were literally the most foul thing I ever had tasted because it literally tasted like it tasted like dirty water with like hundreds of packets of stevia in it. Like so gross. And then I get home. I literally drank one and I was like, I get home the other night. That
I
was like
drank it on the drive home.
I cried when I'm in the car. No, but I had drank that a few nights ago. And then I get home last night. And who is drinking another can of that but my mother?
Goldie.
Already drunk out. I said my mother, not Goldie. What do you say? Wait, what?
Goldie was my guess.
Oh. Goldie. Goldie has eaten weed before, but I don't think he would like alcohol. It did send him to the vet. My mom was just drinking it and she was acting normal. I was like, what the hell even? And she was like, yeah, I saw this in the fridge and it looks so good. And I was like, and you like the taste? And she was like, no, but she was drinking it.
You can't let alcohol go to waste. That's something my mother always taught me.
I think in this very specific case, you can. They're gross, Quinn.
An espresso martini is like, because I've had ones I've ordered that haven't tasted good, and like it is a very specific thing.
I do really like them when they're made. Like, I like the regular kind. I don't like the ones with Baileys in them. I think that's too much.
Mm.
But yeah, just the canned one, the 0 sugar, didn't work. Didn't work at all. So yeah, that's what made me scared, frightful, and yeah, sad that I wasted like $12 on those. And that's a life-changing amount of money. But yeah. So, Quinn, then what was your jump scare of the week? Or the weeks?
I'm gonna do one little like appetizer one.
Okay.
Which is that when I was in the Netherlands, so Emma Chamberlain is also in the Europe at the same time as me, copied off me or whatever. But anyway, she literally while I was in Amsterdam, she posted a vlog of her in Amsterdam.
Classic.
And so I was like, oh, let me watch that. And I watched it and I was like, oh my God, I wish I could be like her. And I was like, no, I am like her. I'm really in the same exact destination. I can go out and do the same things, like but it's like, I had a really weird Black Mirror moment where I'm like, this is truly crazy. Like, this is such a unique moment where I'm like looking at my life and being like, oh, I want that. But it's like, I have that.
That's insane.
I'm literally in
Amsterdam.
It is good, but it's also like, it was good because it's also, because like, I was in Amsterdam for like 120 hours, whereas like I watch her video and it's 14 minutes. So of course it's going to be, it's going to feel more interesting in a moment than like my particular trip, and like she's doing other things.
Right.
You know, she also has a lot more
Yeah.
money than I do. But you know,
She's very rich.
yeah. And so, but it was just one of those things where it was like, oh my God, this is such a Black Mirror moment, because like I'm literally looking at this person in the same place as me, doing similar things, but still being like, I envy them in a way. But it's like, why?
Mhm.
I'm literally I'm doing it. Like I'm doing the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So I found that quite scary.
Yeah. I get that.
But another truly scary thing I experienced when I was in Sevilla. And so some
Okay.
people in my tour group and I, we booked a river cruise in a yacht. Not like a mega yacht, but it was,
Okay.
it was a boat. I don't know why they were trying to call it a yacht.
boat.
Like it's a boat. It's a nice boat, but it's a boat.
Okay.
I don't
good
know what
boat.
constitutes a yacht exactly, but maybe it was the fact that it had 2 floors. Anyway, it was a nice boat, but
Okay.
it was really like a river cruise, but we literally just went like this on the river. Like there wasn't anything to see. Really.
Back
We just
and
kind of
forth.
like we just like ate meat and cheese and drank wine on a yacht. And it was like, ooh. But the ticket wasn't that expensive
Right.
either. But so
Okay, good.
the yacht was taking off at 6 o'clock. Yacht's taking off at 6 o'clock, and we all of us who were taking the yacht decided to get together at 5:20 because it was about a 30-minute walk, and we were gonna walk there and stuff. And so since we're going on a boat, I'm like, oh, let me be a little nautical. So I put on like a hat, I put on little shorts, and I wear these sandals that I bought in Greece. They're super cute.
Perfect.
So when we said 5:20, some people must have heard 5:30. And usually that would be me, but this time it was not. And so I'm like,
Where
and
is
so
everybody?
so we can't walk. So like by the time everybody's ready, we cannot walk anymore. Like we're gonna miss the bus, or we're gonna miss the boat if we walk.
Yeah.
So we have to catch cabs. And I will say in Spain, cabs are very cheap, very different than Greece. Anyway, so our group, we're like a group of 9 people, so we have to catch multiple cabs. So 2 groups, which are like 7 people, catch cabs. And then me and this other girl are in the 3rd cab. And we're trying to hail the cab. Meanwhile, those 2 groups hailed a taxi, no problem. There were like a bunch coming and stuff. When we are trying to hail a taxi, seemingly there are no taxis coming. And then these little old Spanish women had like made this like taxi line out of nowhere. And there was this one woman like hailing down taxis for a seemingly growing cavalcade of older Spanish women. And so we like literally, me and the person I was with like hailed a taxi, and then we were trying to get in, but these women were like yelling at us in Spanish. Like,
oh my goodness.
Basically like, I assume telling us not to take it and like trying to respect the rule of law. But at this point I'm looking and I'm like, we're going to miss the fucking boat. And so then we had to steal a cab from the old ladies, and they were yelling at us. And it was the only time that I was like, oh, I'm happy I don't speak Spanish.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's better if you don't know what they're saying, I think.
Yeah. And so we end up making it. And so it's actually a pretty short ride, and we get to like the pier that the boat is leaving from, and it's 5:58. And so I'm like, oh my God, this is great. But I don't see like a yacht anywhere. And so I'm like, what's going on here? And so then I put it in my navigation. The pickup spot is literally still a half mile down the pier.
Oh God.
And so we're like, oh fuck. And so we're like walking. And the girl in front of me, she's wearing sneakers, so she starts jogging. But I'm in sandals. They're literally like this, like flat, completely flat. Like when I tried to pick up a little bit of speed, and I'm not like, I don't think anything will ever be serious enough for me to like break into like a run.
Right.
Like it's just not something I'm interested in at this point in my life.
I respect that so much.
I don't think anything could be that serious to me.
Yeah.
And so, but like I'm trying to get on this boat, and so I'm like moving at like Mach speed. And even when I tried to run, like my sandals started to like come off.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay, I could take them off, but then I'm literally walking on a pier in Sevilla. Like I don't know what the fuck is on the ground.
Yeah.
Not even in Sevilla. I could be anywhere. I'm like, I'm not taking my damn shoes off. I think it's weird when people walk around outside without their shoes on.
Literally.
especially on like pavement and stuff. And so I'm just like, damn. So we're and like at this point they're texting. They're like, okay, guys, they're saying you have like a 5 minute grace period, but the boat's gonna take off. And so then it's full like I'm like, oh my God. And I like literally lose sight of the girl. She's ran so far ahead of me.
Oh
Um
oh my God.
that I'm just like, and then I eventually see like people waving from the boat, and I'm like, oh my God, it's here, it's here, it's here. And so then I'm like walking up, I'm like waving at the person, I'm like, please stop, please stop. And
Let me
then
on that boat.
yes, I walked on to the yacht about 10 minutes late, but even in that short time, my feet got a little torn up because I was moving in ways I wasn't necessarily supposed to be moving with those sandals on. So
Yeah.
wearing those sandals would end up being a bad decision for that night, which I will elaborate on a little bit more later.
That's
So
so
yeah,
annoying. You were on time and then you were late.
literally not my fault
Things happen
either.
so fast. Yeah.
I know, like
It's
anyway,
frustrating.
but it all worked out in the end. So
Good.
with that being said, we now turn to the Manic Pixie moment, and the Manic Pixie moment is where we just felt like we were the main character. Coming out is a very Manic Pixie moment in one's life. I mean, depending on how it goes,
Yeah, for
it
sure.
could very easily be a Manic Pixie
Either
moment
way.
or a jump scare.
Yeah.
Crazy. But basically it's just a
Up to
time where we
date.
felt like we were that girl. And so Bika,
hmm
when was that for you over these past couple weeks?
So again, I'll just choose from today because I did have a nice moment today where so I've been kind of, as you all may remember, I did quit my Starbucks job from around here. And I have kind of ceased to go back to the location, when I don't have to be there,
As you should.
in avoidance basically of that manager who
Mhm.
did
Traumatized.
basically, yeah. But
Bullied you out of
we
the
did get
job.
literally, but we did get a viral moment from her, so I do respect her in that way. Shouts out.
Oh my
I
God,
cannot be
she
all
was
that.
behind that.
Yeah.
I don't believe everything happens for a reason, but like that's another piece of evidence that maybe it does.
Yeah, I think so actually. Um, but so I was at work today, early shift at Ulta Beauty. And then me and this girl took our 15s at the same time, and we were like, oh, we'll go get Starbucks. And the closest one is the one that I did work at. So I was like, okay, I'll be brave. I'll go back. I really don't
Mhm.
care that much also. But I saw as soon as I walked in, I was like, oh, it's that kid who he complimented my shark tattoo. And then the next day I came back and worked with him. He had tattooed that tattoo on himself. And now we have matching tattoos.
In the same place?
Yeah.
That's I don't like that. I don't
I was
like
like,
that.
that's pretty funny. But the funniest part is that when he complimented me, I was a customer. And then the next time I saw him, he didn't realize that I would be transferring there and be
Yeah.
working there
You're
actually.
like,
So
I remember that
I was
moment. Oh
like,
my God.
surprise.
Ancient history.
Yeah, I know. But yeah,
Damn,
so
Persephone was also walking around being like, are you guys going to see the new Sophocles play? That's how ancient it was.
Persephone, what the hell?
What the hell?
Okay, deep cut. But yeah, so the first person I saw when I walked into Starbucks today was him, and he was like, oh my God, hey. I was like, hi. And he was like, oh, you look great. And that is the second person in the past week who has told me, you look great, because they haven't seen me in a while. The other person had been actually, it's been like 5 years since I saw her. But she was like, wow, you look great. And now this kid was
Yeah.
like, wow, you look great. And it's just a good reminder of how far I've come.
Yeah.
Because to be beautiful, you must have at one point been ugly. And I can recognize that.
Yeah.
Or at least you were flopping and now you're slaying.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very much that.
So
Yeah.
I'm in
Oh my
my
God.
slay era, and that's just good.
I feel like we're both in slight eras a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel
I
like
think
I've
so
been in a
too.
sleigh era this whole, well, maybe not the summer. Well, kind of the summer was kind of like a half sleigh. Like it wasn't, I didn't feel like I was flopping in the summer, but I certainly didn't feel like I was slaying to the magnitude I am now.
Yeah, I think I'm like I've been slowly increasing my sleigh. I
Hmm.
hope in the winter and for all of 2023 to not slay but serve.
Mm. Mm.
You feel me?
Did you see that tweet that was
Cool.
like, it put the,
Oh my
it put
God.
the word like Kunta servant.
Wait, what? What?
It put the word like cunt,
Okay.
like cunt serve into Google Translate. And it was
Okay.
like detecting German. And it was like the German word for like customer service is like Kunta serve.
Kuntasev.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, you're Kuntasev. That's what I hope to do. Yeah. So that was my manic pixie moment. Pretty positive for me.
Mhm.
So Quinn, what was that moment for you?
I actually have a couple. So, or I have two. I'm gonna start with the shorter one. So sometimes like as a tourist in
Mhm.
countries where I don't speak the language, I like don't always feel comfortable like taking up, space, or like sometimes I don't want to like reveal the fact that I like don't speak the language. And so I was
Mhm.
at a drag show the other night, and it was very different in the States because we had like a table, and so I was sitting with some other people, and then there was somebody at another table. I was like sitting next to them, but they were at another table. It was this lovely woman. She had a little pixie cut, and she had like a black smoky eye on. um
Mm.
and she kept like leaning over to me throughout the course of the show and like speaking Spanish to me. And like, I don't want that loser that goes like, no habla español, like, or
Right.
I guess habla español un pequeño, like, like I don't
Mm.
want to be that
Yeah.
person. And so I was just
Right.
like, because like, there's also so much you can glean from just like the vibe.
People's, yes, exactly. Body
Like there
language.
was one point where like I knew she was telling me a joke, and so I was like, ah, ha ha ha, like.
Right. Let me
And so
laugh.
I was just fully like just like communicating with her. She was just talking to me and I was not saying any words back. I was fully just giving like non-verbal markers, like pretending like to understand her. And at one point she was like, she said something like, "Tu es mi amigo." Like, and like I literally made friends with somebody without even speaking the same language as them.
I love that so much. That is
No,
so,
and we
wait, was it the girl in that video?
yes.
Okay, perfect.
Her
Yeah,
name's
yeah, yeah.
Ava.
Oh,
She
amazing.
I took down her WhatsApp because she was like, "Oh, if you want to get," she did speak English, so the joke was kind of on me because the whole time she spoke English. Well, not the whole time she was speaking English to me, but
But
she could
secretly,
speak
she
English the whole time.
could speak English the whole time. Yeah.
Yes, and so if I
Yeah.
had just said, "Oh, I speak English" to her,
She would have
yes,
done that.
exactly. Mhm.
You did not give her
Um,
the opportunity though.
yeah, 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 and
So,
so
so you're telling me eventually it was revealed that you spoke English and not Spanish.
yes. Because I
Okay,
like
so
tried to say
how
something. She asked who I was
humiliating.
there with, and then when I was trying to describe who I was there with, she was like, "Oh, you don't speak Spanish."
It's okay.
No, but she didn't like judge me at
Whoops.
all. She was still like, she gave me she gave me like her phone number through WhatsApp, and so she was like,
Okay,
"If you want to get like a
Slay.
drink or anything," I was like, "Slay,
Oh, how lovely. How
yeah."
lovely. God.
Um, and but yeah, and so that was my first Manic Pixie moment. But I'll take you back to the night that I just described on the yacht. So after the yacht, we all had a good time,
Mhm.
and then we all went out to dinner. And then when we were in Sevilla, there's like this whole series of like outdoor concerts going on in the Plaza de España, which is this huge like plaza in Sevilla.
Mhm.
And so a couple, like four of us from the group went to the concert. And so the girl's name who we saw is Rigoberta Albertini, I want to say. I always fuck up her
Okay.
last name. No, Rigoberta Bandini. Um,
Mm.
but she makes very good music. If you like if you understand Spanish, I assume it will be good. But she makes
Okay.
apparently she makes like very like feminist music. Um, and it just sounds good to anybody who has ears, I believe. And so even though I don't
Love
quite
that.
know what she's saying, I'm just like, um, and so yeah. So after
Hey.
the concert, we met this. So during the concert, this woman comes up to us and she starts like speaking Spanish to us. And so this time I actually did, even though this was before I made my friend Ava, this time I did actually say, like no habla español. And she was like, oh, I speak English. I'm an English teacher. And so she introduced herself to us as Resurrección. She
Okay.
said her name was Resurrección, which is resurrection in Spanish.
Yeah.
And so, which we're all like, do we think that was like her real name? Anyway. And so she was like talking to us and we were like, she was like, oh yeah, well, there's actually a DJ set like right after this, like right in the plaza. And so we were like, okay. And so we went over to the DJ set. It was so fun. It was outdoors. It was an outdoor concert. So we were just dancing on
Oh,
like,
cool.
it was like kind of like a dirt floor or like a dusty, like a, not dirt, but like dust kind of,
Yeah.
like sandy, like dirt and stuff. And so we were just like, they were doing a DJ set. It was like mixed Spanish music and English music. And so it was really fun. And Becca and I both know this feeling because I've seen Becca while this was happening, but something about being the main character of a dance floor, like,
Yeah.
like
I love
Becca
it.
and I know Becca and I both had these moments where we've been on the dance floor and we're just like, we are like, everybody is looking at us and we are
Yeah.
serving.
Every time I go to Tequila Cowboy, no one.
I've talked about how Becca can dance on this podcast before,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I was
Yeah.
shook and shocked when I saw it.
And Quinn is just a performer by nature.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, especially like
Yeah.
oh yeah. And there were
Mhm.
I was having the time of my life out on that dance floor, and people were like responding to me. There were people who were like actually good dancers who would like come up and like want to dance with me, and I was like, yeah, let's
Loves
do it.
it.
And oh my god, and one song I'm always gonna body. One song I'm always gonna body when it comes to the performance. 1, 2, 3. Toxic by Britney Spears.
Oh, baby,
Because there's so much you can
It's
do with
so
that song
good.
famously.
I know.
And yeah, and so that song came on at one point. I have a couple videos that people took of
Classic.
me dancing.
That's when you know it's good. You're getting
And then
videos of you.
no, literally, and my whole group was like, when we like were eventually reunited with like the rest of the group, everybody was like, guys, Quinn's like a dancer. Like Quinn can dance.
I love that.
And I was like, I don't know.
You said it. Okay.
I was like, I slay. I will never deny the
I
fact
slay.
that I slay
Mm-hmm.
or that I serve.
It work.
No, but when you did say that, when you're like, I hope I start to serve soon, something that I think is interesting, just as like a final note to end us on, is I think this is part of the, like, I don't know if it's just the stage of life I'm in or like, but like, I've realized that for the past, I forget if it's like 3 or 4 years at this point, but like for the past that amount of time, like I think about if I had asked myself at any point in that time what I would be doing a year from then, like I would have given the wrong answer. Like if you asked me in fall of 2019 what I would be doing in fall of 2020, I would have given you the completely wrong answer.
I think you're, yeah.
And same with
Yeah.
like every year since then. And so
Yeah.
that's kind of part of the reason my life feels like not off kilter anymore, but like so like not even spontaneous,
Random.
but just yes, random a little bit. Because
No,
I don't
life
think
is
I've
so
had
random.
yeah, I haven't had like a thing where like my life has been so vastly different like in like a year in at least a year's time from like any other point that like and same now, if you asked me this time last year when we were about to go
Yeah.
into tech for Hit Stage's production of the Drag Seed,
Literally.
if I thought I would be sitting in a undisclosed location in Spain recording a podcast with the damn director of the damn show
of the damn
I would have
literally.
said I don't know about all that.
No, literally, because even as a
But it's what
psychic as I
happened.
am, like I can't even predict the stuff that's
No,
going on
literally.
right now.
Yeah.
Crazy.
That's just the
Fun.
final note I wanted to end on because Becca
Yeah,
reminded me
I
of
love
it.
that.
But yeah, Becca, how then can people keep up with you if they're so inclined?
Okay. They can definitely follow me on Instagram at Becca Hobart, TikTok, Where Y'all Going During World War III, Twitter and Spotify and Apple Music and iTunes and blah, 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 blah.
Mhm.
Bex Gloss. They
Explorers.
can also find me roaming in the dark and creeping in the night for the rest of October and probably a little bit of November. Quinn, where can the people keep up with you even individually?
You can follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Quinn P. Murphy. And you can follow me on Twitter at Quinn P. Murphy _. And you can
Mhm.
also find me forgetting that this is the little thing we do whenever we record. But when I actually do damn remember, I get so little happy. And so,
Yeah.
Becca, where can people keep up with the show if they are so inclined?
Well, they can actually follow Manic Pixie Jump Scare on Instagram, on TikTok, and yeah, you guessed it, actually on YouTube, where we post the podcast at length. And we usually also put exclusive content over there. So please follow, subscribe, and comment, guys. Sometimes also you just want to look at our beautiful faces.
Literally.
That's a great place to do that. And then bleak email into
Bleak.
manicpixiejumpscare@gmail.com, guys. Come on.
Mhm. Come on.
Tell us anything. Come on, guys.
You guys, I'm not gonna say a number of who listens to this show, but like people listen to this damn show.
Yeah. So
I
why
know
aren't
y'all
you
got
damn writing in?
I know you got thoughts on what's going on.
Yeah. So
I know you
send
got
us those thoughts.
thoughts. I know you got thoughts on what's going on here.
Mhm.
And so please just tell us. We're just asking.
Literally.
Anyway.
We're begging.
And
But
Oh, we're
we're
Gwen.
Gwen, and we're Becca, and
Thank you.
thank you for
listening.
happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween! Manic Pixie Jump Scare is hosted by Quinn Murphy
and Becca Hobart. Executive produced by Quinn Murphy and Becca Hobart.
Sound and video editing by Quinn Murphy.
Social media management and highlights by Becca Hobart.
And our theme song was written by Quinn Murphy, Becca Hobart, and Nandita Mahesh.